So there I was, Ling Qin, the last hope of humanity. No pressure, right? Just 8 billion people counting on me to find them a new home because our planet, Blue Star, was basically dying like a phone at 1% battery. The sun was going dark, resources were gone, and someone brilliant decided, hey, let's send one guy in a spaceship to check out a planet we barely know anything about. Lucky me. I flew my ship, the Spark, straight to Kepler 666b. The astronomers said it had air and water. Blue Star 2.0, they called it. Sounded like a vacation brochure. Nobody mentioned the part where the planet would try to crush me like a bug. I punched through the atmosphere, and my ship basically exploded on landing. I got thrown out of the cockpit like a rag doll and smashed into rocks. My ribs cracked. My bones sounded like someone stepping on potato chips. And then I felt the gravity. 10 times. Blue stars. Gravity. I couldn't move. I couldn't lift my pinky finger. I was lying there like a pancake someone forgot to flip. Every breath felt like bench pressing a truck with my lungs. The fancy titanium armor I was wearing? Completely wrecked. I was just a broken human being superglued to the ground by invisible force. The astronomers saw water and air, but somehow missed the part where this planet has gravity that could flatten an elephant into a coin. Great job, science team. Really thorough work. So I'm lying there, thinking, well, this is how humanity's last hope dies, as a stain on some red alien dirt. And then, ding, a weird robot voice pops into my head. Special life form detected. Activating survival evolution system. A glowing blue screen appeared in front of my eyes. Stats, attributes, the whole video game setup. Strength 15, agility 12, constitution 13, charm 18. Apparently I'm dying, but at least I'm handsome. The system told me I get 1 free stat point every day at midnight just for staying alive, and I can upgrade my actual body with them. No limit. Then it asked me if I wanted a starter gift pack. You have a starter gift pack. 1,000 attribute points. 1,000. I almost cried. I immediately dumped 100 into Constitution because, the planet was currently squishing me to death. Warm energy flooded through my body. The pain eased up. I could actually breathe again. I felt incredible, like I could punch through a wall back on Blue Star. But I still had 900 points left, and I was being smart about it. Careful. Strategic. Planning my next move like a genius. Then some alien creature screamed in the distance. Ga-ga-ga-ga chicken. And I jumped so hard my finger accidentally hit the all-in button next to charm. 900 points. Into charm. Wait, no. System. I didn't mean to. Give it back. Points allocated. No refunds. My 900 points. You scam system, so now my stats look absolutely ridiculous. I have the body of a slightly upgraded human and the charm of, I don't even know what. A god? 1,000 supermodels duct taped together? Who needs 915 charm on a planet with no people? I sat there for a minute, mourning my lost points. Then my stomach growled louder than whatever alien chicken screamed at me earlier. I dragged myself to the wreckage, found some emergency food, and ate like I hadn't seen food in a week. Turns out higher constitution means higher appetite too. Great. I'm going to starve to death beautifully. My ship was toast. Communications were dead. No way to call Blue Star. I was alone on a murder-gravity planet with cracked bones, no points left, and enough charm to seduce a black hole. But I found the safety pod still intact, so at least I had somewhere to sleep. The sky turned creepy dark purple as the sun set. Temperatures started dropping. I crawled into that pod and stared out at the endless red wasteland. I'm going to survive this, I told myself. I'm going to lay low, stack up points 1 per day, and figure this planet out. 80 billion people are counting on me. And I just accidentally made myself the hottest man in the universe instead of the strongest. This is fine. Everything is fine. I'd been hiding in my safety pod for days like a cockroach under a refrigerator. The good news? I figured out how the system works. This planet has actual monster beasts with power levels, and killing them drops crystal cores that give attribute points. So basically, I'm living inside a video game. Cool. Except I'm level 1 and everything else is level 999. The bad news. My daily reward is 1 measly attribute point. 1 per day. At this rate, I'll be strong enough to survive in about 300 years. Very helpful. Thank you, scam system. Under 10 times gravity, I walked slower than a grandma chicken. Any random baby monster could sneeze on me, and I'd die. My compressed food was almost gone. I was chewing on crumbs and contemplating my life choices. Then the ground started shaking. Something was coming. Something big. I peeked through the glass of my pod and nearly swallowed my tongue. A woman walked out from behind the rocks. And when I say woman, I mean a 3-meter-tall giant woman. She was absolutely massive, like someone took a supermodel, fed her magic protein shakes, and scaled her up 200%. Dark green hair flowing like silk curtains, wearing beast skin armor that hugged curves I'm too terrified to describe, and a face more stunning than any celebrity back on Blue Star. I came up to her kneecap. Maybe. And she was walking straight toward me. She stopped right in front of my pod and just stared at me, smiling, with this shy little grin that somehow made every hair on my body stand up. Why is she smiling at me? What does she want? I'm not coming out. Go away, big sister. You're beautiful, but you're terrifying. I panicked and asked the system for help. System, what's happening? What does she want? The system replied. Don't worry. She has no intention to kill you. She might just do some strange things to you. Strange things? What strange things? System, explain right now. Too late. She put her giant palm on my safety pod and squeezed the door like it was aluminum foil. Just crunch, peeled it off like opening a sardine can. Then she reached in and plucked me out like I was a hamster. She held me up to her face and stared at me with this look of absolute fascination. Like I was the cutest, most precious little toy she'd ever found. Her eyes were practically sparkling with hearts. Big sister, please put me down. System, help me. She couldn't understand a single word I said. To her, I was just making adorable little squeaking noises. She poked my cheek with her finger. Gently, like I was made of glass. Her fingertip was literally the size of my entire face. And she smelled nice, which somehow made everything more stressful. Then she just grabbed me, stuffed me against her chest, and started running. I was pressed against her like a teddy bear. My face was smushed into. Well, let's just say the proportions were also scaled up and leave it at that. Each one was bigger than my entire head. I could hear her heartbeat pounding like a drum. I looked ahead and saw a stone castle on top of a mountain. That's when the horrible realization hit me. She was taking me home. The system said she'd do strange things. She was carrying me to her castle. I've been alive for 28 years and protected my dignity. This whole time, and now, no? Please, no. I squirmed. I wiggled. I might have whimpered a little. Okay, a lot. My voice cracked like a middle schooler's. She noticed I was freaking out and actually stopped. Put me down gently. Poked my cheek again with her warm fingertip and made soft cooing sounds, like she was calming down a scared puppy. The gentler she was, the more terrified I got. She picked me back up when I stopped thrashing. I was just trembling silently at that point, which she apparently interpreted as, he's fine now, and sprinted to the castle. The stone gates opened. Giant warriors with stone axes came out and saw me in her arms. Their jaws dropped. They started shouting and pointing at me like I was some kind of mythical creature. She lifted her chin proudly, showing me off to everyone like I was a trophy she won at the county fair. Look what I found, her body language screamed. And then more giant women showed up. They crowded around, staring at me with hungry eyes full of desire and, I am not exaggerating, ownership. I was a prize hamster at a giant women convention. My survival mission on Kepler 666b had officially become a hostage situation. I mentally cursed myself. This is what 915 charm points gets you, you idiot. She carried me into a room inside the castle and placed me on a bed covered in soft animal fur, like I was a porcelain doll. Then she just left. No chains, no cage, no lock on the door, which somehow made me more nervous. When your kidnapper gives you freedom, that's when you know you're in real trouble. A few minutes later, another giant woman came in, a shorter one, only about 2.5 meters short. She brought a stone tray piled with weird, colorful fruits I'd never seen before and set it down next to me. She looked at me like I was a talking hamster at a pet store, then quietly left. My stomach growled so loud it echoed off the stone walls. System, scan these fruits. Are they poisoned? The system said they were packed with crazy nutrients and totally safe. So I grabbed one that looked like a golden apple and bit into it. Sweet juice with a little kick, and boom, Energy exploded through my body like I'd chugged 10 energy drinks at once. The muscle pain from the gravity melted away. My brain cleared up. I ate 3 more and felt like a brand new human. But I still had questions. System, why did she bring me here? Is it because of my charm stat? The system answered, yes. With 918 charm points, you're basically irresistible. If you didn't have that charm, she would have chopped off your third leg. The moment she saw you, my third, excuse me, she's been affected by your charm. Right now, all she wants is to possess you. So let me get this straight. My accidental 900-point charm investment just saved my life and ruined my life at the same time. Without it, death by axe. With it, death by giant woman love. Fantastic options. System, I can't even understand what she's saying. Can you teach me their language? Yes. To quickly download the Titan language database, you need to establish a direct neural interface at close range. English, please. You have to kiss her on the mouth. I stared into the void for 2 full seconds. You want me to kiss her? She's 3 meters tall. Her mouth could swallow my entire head. I'll get vacuumed in. You'll be fine. Just 1 kiss. I grabbed the language data. Done. You're not messing with me? I would never lie to you, host. Sure you wouldn't. This is the same system that let me accidentally dump 900 points into charm. Very trustworthy. Fine. When she comes back, I'll try. 2 hours later, she returned. New outfit. Carrying a stone bowl of hot, creamy soup that smelled amazing. She saw me sitting on the bed, and her eyes literally lit up like Christmas lights. She crouched down and held the bowl out to me with both hands, looking at me with those big, hopeful eyes. Like a kid showing their mom a drawing they're proud of. I drank the soup. It was incredible. Warm energy flooded my whole body. I handed the bowl back. She took it, but didn't leave. She just crouched there, chin resting on her hands, staring at me, not blinking, eyes glued to me like I was the most fascinating thing in the universe. The way she looked at me was so intense it made my skin crawl. But I also knew this was my chance. System, get ready. I'm going in. Do it, host. Kiss her. I took a deep breath, looked up into her eyes, reached out my tiny little hands, grabbed her giant head on both sides, and slowly pulled my face toward her big, full, glossy lips. She blinked. Her long eyelashes fluttered. A flash of surprise, then shyness crossed her face, but she didn't pull away. She actually leaned in. I kissed her. She froze, completely locked up like a computer crashing. Then her honey-brown cheeks turned bright red, and her breathing got heavy. The system screamed in my head. Connection established. Language data downloading. Her lips were soft, warm, smelled like flowers. Her giant hand came up and gently cradled the back of my head, so carefully, so tenderly, like I was made of soap bubbles. But I was fully aware that same hand could pop my skull like a grape. We stayed like that for 2.5 minutes. 2.5 minutes. System, are we done yet? Oh, it's been done for a while now. What? Why didn't you tell me? You didn't ask. Besides, you seem to be enjoying yourself. Enjoying my... I'll kill you, you stupid system. Sure you will, dog host. You were kissing pretty enthusiastically for someone who wasn't enjoying it. I ripped myself away from her immediately. She stayed frozen in that leaning position, eyes half closed, cheeks burning red, eyelashes trembling. After a few seconds, she slowly opened her eyes. They were shimmering, soft, full of pure happiness. She touched her own lips with one fingertip, then looked at me and smiled the most radiant, blinding, heart-stopping smile I've ever seen. Shy and sweet, and absolutely devastating. She whispered something I couldn't understand yet. The system was still processing the language data, but the emotion behind it was crystal clear. She knew I couldn't understand her. A little flash of sadness crossed her eyes, but she didn't push it. She just stood up, gave me one last long look full of so much affection it was almost embarrassing, and walked out. The door closed. I collapsed onto the fur bed, slapped my hand over my face, and just lay there with my heart hammering like a jackhammer. Not because I was scared, because that giant woman's completely unfiltered, shameless, overwhelming love just short-circuited my entire brain. I'm supposed to be saving humanity. Instead, I'm having my first kiss with a 3-meter-tall alien woman on a planet that's trying to crush me to death. Mom, if you could see me now. Actually, please don't look. System, How's the language download going? 12%. Cool. So I'm stuck in a giant woman's bedroom with no way out. The windows were tiny and high up. The stone door was 30 centimeters thick. I could punch it for 1,000 years, and it wouldn't even notice. An hour and 43 minutes of staring at walls later, the system finally pinged. Titan language database loaded. You can now understand and speak basic Titan. Perfect timing too, because I heard footsteps outside. The door opened, and in walked my captor, plus 2 more giant women behind her, all carrying neatly folded clothes. "Are you awake?" she asked softly. And I understood her. Every single word. "Is your body feeling okay? Did you like the soup?" I forced myself to stay calm. "I'm fine." The soup was delicious. "Thank you." Her eyes went huge. Her jaw dropped. The 2 women behind her literally gasped out loud. All 3 of them stared at me like I'd just pulled a rabbit out of my ear. You can speak our language?" She rushed over and crouched right in front of me, her amber eyes sparkling with amazement. "Yeah, just learned it. I'm a fast learner." I lied. "Obviously. Hey, I downloaded your entire language through a magic kiss." Would raise some questions I didn't want to answer. "I just listened carefully and figured it out," I said casually. She stared at me for a long time, and somehow fell even more in love with me. I could literally see the hearts multiplying in her eyes. "Great. My charm stat strikes again. You're amazing. You're not like anyone else," she said shyly. "Hi. I'm Alia." "Hi. I'm Ling Chen." Alia waved at her 2 attendants to put the clothes on the stone table, but her eyes never left me. "Not for 1 second. I had these made specially for you, adjusted to your size. Try them on and see if they fit." Then she dropped the bomb. "In our Greenwood tribe, when you want to marry someone, you prepare tribal clothing for them. This is my proposal to you." My heart stopped. Literally skipped a beat. "Mary." I tried very hard to keep my voice from cracking. "What do you mean, Mary?" Alia smiled even bigger, blushing like a teenager, and said with absolute seriousness, "Our tribe's marriage prayer festival is in 3 days. It's the best day for wedding vows. I already told the chief. Everyone approved. Everything is prepared." Every individual word made sense. Together, they formed the most insane sentence I've ever heard. Hold on. I raised my hands. "Alia, we met today. Less than a day ago. I'm not even from your tribe. Marriage is a life decision. This is way too. I don't care." She cut me off instantly, eyes burning with intensity. "The moment I first saw you, I knew I wanted you. I want to be with you. Yes, you're a little short, but I don't mind. That's enough. I don't need any other reason. I'm a little short? I'm normal height. You're the one who's 3 meters tall." But I didn't say that, because the sheer force of her confession hit me like a freight train. No build-up. No dating. No, let's get coffee first. Just full speed, zero hesitation. "You're mine now." Energy that made an army of 1,000 soldiers seem less intimidating. The 2 attendants quietly slipped out, closing the door behind them. Just me and Alia. Alone. Her eyes blazing with love and possessiveness. "What if I refuse?" I asked carefully, bracing for the worst. She went quiet for a few seconds. Then, dead serious, "You don't get to refuse. I like you. I want to be with you. This is my only wish in this life." Before I could respond, her voice softened. "I won't hurt you. I'll treat you well. I'll give you the best of everything I have. You'll never have to face danger alone again." Then she stood up, gave me one last long look full of longing and hope that made my chest feel weird, and gently walked to the door. "Rest well. Try on the clothes. I'll come see you tomorrow." The door closed. I collapsed onto the fur bed. Negotiation status. Complete failure. There was never a negotiation. She didn't ask. She informed. System. How do I escape? Absolutely impossible. Of course, I could hear guards patrolling outside. Heavy footsteps every few minutes. Even if I somehow made it out the door, I'd get caught within 50 meters and lose the little freedom I still had. Then I started thinking. Actually thinking. Alia is a high-ranking warrior, the strongest fighter in the entire Greenwood tribe. Out there in the wilderness, everything wants to kill me. In here, I have food, shelter, and a personal bodyguard who would probably fight a dragon for me. This castle isn't a prison. It's the ultimate safe house. I could hide here, level up, stack attribute points, get strong enough to actually survive on this insane planet. Swallow my pride now. Build power for later. I picked up the tribal outfit and put it on. It fit perfectly. like she'd measured me while I was sleeping. Which, she probably did. Slightly creepy, mostly impressive. I caught my reflection in the polished stone wall. A human in alien fancy clothes, trapped in a giant's castle, about to be married in 3 days to a woman twice his height, with the survival plan of, just go along with it. It was ridiculous. It was humiliating. It was a little bit sad. But I was alive. And as long as I'm alive, the game isn't over. 3 days until the wedding. The clock is ticking. And Ling Chen does not go down without a plan. Even if the plan is currently just eat fruit, gain points, and try not to get crushed during the honeymoon. Day 2 of being a giant woman's pet boyfriend. I put on the tribal outfit Alia made for me, the one with little blue crystal pieces on it, and barely finished getting dressed before I heard her skipping down the hallway. Actually skipping, like a kid going to Disneyland. Ling Chen, are you up? I'm taking you on a tour of the castle today. So off we went. Me and my 3-meter-tall girlfriend, walking through hallways together, looking like a mother taking her toddler to daycare. The castle was huge. Guards everywhere, giant dudes with stone axes and spears, muscles on top of muscles. Average height, 3 meters plus. The weakest of them could squash me like a bug. They were considered low-rank warriors. The basic model. And any one of them could fold me like laundry. Alia was pointing things out like a tour guide. These are the patrol guards. That window overlooks the core district. Beyond that is the great forest. Everything was going fine. Peaceful. Educational. Then it all went sideways. Lady Ali, a booming voice echoed down the corridor like thunder in a tunnel. I turned around and saw a mountain of a man stomping toward us. 3.5 meters tall. Shoulders wide enough to block an entire doorway. His armor was covered in battle scars. He looked like he chewed rocks for breakfast and monsters for lunch. Behind him were 2 more giants, all 3 glaring at me like I'd personally insulted their ancestors. Instantly, random tribe members stopped what they were doing and backed up against the walls. The vibe shifted from pleasant castle tour to reality TV drama. I could hear them whispering, thanks to my language database picking up everything. That's Kalong. He's the second strongest warrior in the tribe, right behind Lady Alia. He's been chasing her for 2.5 years, and now she brings home this tiny foreigner? Kalong must be furious. Look at that little guy. He's so short. They look like a mom and her child walking together. I don't know. I think the little guy's pretty cute. The more I look at him, the more I like him. What is wrong with you women? There are plenty of big, strong men in this tribe. Ever since this shrimp showed up, you've all lost your minds. He's short. He's weak. All he's got is a handsome face. Completely useless. Shut up, you idiots. Move. You're blocking my view of him. Great. I have a fan club and a hate club. Both equally terrifying. Kalong stopped right in front of us, towering over me like a building about to fall on a squirrel. His eyes were full of pure contempt. I was an ant. Less than an ant. I was whatever ants step on. Then he turned to Alia, barely containing his rage. Alia, who is this little runt? Why are you with him? Alia stepped forward, putting herself between me and this walking earthquake. Her voice was steel. His name is Ling Chen. He's the partner I've chosen. We're getting married at the prayer festival. The day after tomorrow. Kalong's face went through about 17 emotions in 2 seconds. Shock, disbelief, horror, rage, heartbreak, more rage. Why? I've pursued you for 2.5 years. I've killed high-rank monsters for the tribe. I've done everything for you. And you say no to me, but yes to this. This little shrimp? What does he have that I don't? The crowd was eating this up. The giant equivalent of pulling out popcorn was happening in real time. Someone whispered, Kalong has a point. The outsider's nothing special besides being kind of pretty. A female giant fired back. Pretty? He's gorgeous. If Alia hadn't claimed him, I'd snatch him up as my personal boy toy in a heartbeat. Sho. He belongs to Lady Alia. We can't talk like that. Who cares? If that little cutie fell into my hands, I'd make sure he couldn't walk straight for a week. I heard that. I heard all of that. My survival instincts screamed at maximum volume. Meanwhile, I had a revelation. I looked at myself. Short by giant standards, weak as a newborn kitten in combat terms, 0 achievements, brought home like a stray puppy. And here was Kalong. Tall, powerful, dedicated, 2.5 years of loyal pursuit. Wait, am I the homewrecker in this story? The thought hit me like lightning. How did I accidentally become the villain in someone else's love story? I didn't ask for this. I was kidnapped. But then I thought, this is actually perfect. If Kalong convinces Alia I'm not worth it, maybe this ridiculous wedding gets called off. So I gently tugged on Alia's sleeve, looked up at her with my most sincere expression, and said, Alia, he's right. I really don't deserve you. Maybe we should not get married. The entire hallway went dead silent. Nobody expected that. Even Kalong froze mid-tantrum. Everyone just stared at me. And then Alia turned around with fire in her eyes. Absolutely not. This marriage is happening. Her voice wasn't loud, but it cut through the air like a blade. Every person in that hallway felt it in their spine. She whipped back around to Kalong, her expression cold enough to freeze lava. And you? I have never liked you. Who I choose as my partner is my business. Stay out of it. Kalong's face turned the color of a bruised plum. He looked at her, then at me, and his contempt slowly curdled into something darker. Pure venom. He stared at me like he was memorizing my face for a wanted poster. You. He pointed at me, teeth grinding. You just wait. I'll make you understand that you don't belong next to her. Alia's aura exploded. High-rank warrior energy blasted outward like a shockwave. The air itself got heavy. Guards flinched. Random tribe members stumbled backward. Touch him. I dare you. Kalong's whole body trembled. Even he couldn't match her. He glared at me one final time, spat out, You'll regret this, Alia, and stormed off with his two goons. The crowd slowly dispersed, everyone sneaking one last curious look at me, the tiny alien who just caused the biggest drama this castle had seen in years. I let out the longest exhale of my life. So to summarize today's tour, I now have a powerful, jealous rival who wants to destroy me. My attempt to cancel the wedding backfired spectacularly, and half the women in this tribe apparently want to kidnap me from my kidnapper. Alia turned back to me, and just like that, Ice Queen gone, warm smile back. She patted my head gently like I was a golden retriever. Don't worry about him. As long as I'm here, nobody touches you. I told you. This wedding is happening no matter what. She grabbed my hand. Her palm was so big it swallowed my entire hand, and started walking again. Come on, let me show you the rest. I followed along behind her like a tiny man being walked by the world's most terrifying and affectionate giant. My plan to escape the marriage failed. My plan to lay low and avoid trouble also failed. Score for the day, 1 furious rival gained, 0 problems solved. This 918 charm is the gift that keeps on giving. And by giving, I mean ruining my life in new and creative ways every single day. Back in my room, I stared at my stats and wanted to cry. 1 attribute point per day? 1. At this rate, I'd be combat ready sometime around my 300th birthday. Kalong would have murdered me, buried me, and danced on my grave about 299 years before that. I needed crystal cores from monsters. That was the only shortcut. But killing monsters myself? Huh. A gentle breeze on this planet could knock me out. I needed a bodyguard. I needed a chauffeur. I needed someone who could slaughter beasts while I stood behind them collecting loot like a lazy player in a video game. I needed Alia. So I swallowed my pride. What little was left after being carried around like a handbag for 2 days, and marched up to the top floor of the castle where she lived. Found her sitting at a stone table, casually polishing a sword that was literally bigger than my entire body. Just girl things. Lingchen, what are you doing here? Her scary warrior face instantly melted into puppy dog warmth. Are you tired from the tour? Want something to drink? Alia, I need a favor. Can you take me to hunt monsters? Her smile froze like someone hit the pause button. She shot to her feet, all 3 meters and 2 centimeters of her, and looked at me like I'd just asked to juggle live grenades. Absolutely not. You're too weak. Even the lowest rank monsters out there could kill you. It's way too dangerous. She dragged me to the window and pointed outside. See that? We have a training room. You go train there first, get stronger, and then we can talk about going outside. Training room? Turns out the tribe has these special rooms with magic formations that purify energy from monster crystal cores. Warriors sit inside, meditate, and slowly absorb the energy to get stronger. Keyword, slowly. Wait, I said, my brain connecting the dots. So the training rooms run on crystal cores? Why don't you guys just absorb the cores directly? Alia gave me a look like I'd suggested drinking poison for fun. Because the energy inside crystals is too violent. Direct absorption could seriously injure you or make you literally explode. Explode. Lovely. But here's the thing. My system can convert crystal core energy safely. That's my whole cheat code. While everyone else has to sit in a meditation room for weeks to get a little boost, I can just eat crystals like candy and power up instantly. Now the question was, do I tell Alia about this? My first instinct was a no. The system is my biggest secret. If the wrong person found out, then the system chimed in. Relax, host. Alia's affection level is at 100. Maximum. Absolute loyalty. She would literally die for you. Well, okay then. But before I told her, another question had been bugging me. System, why does your panel show loyalty for men, but affection for women? Isn't that kind of suspicious? Loyalty measures respect and obedience based on admiration and recognition. Affection measures romantic attachment based on attraction and emotional bonding. Both represent positive emotional connection to the host. The difference is merely an optimized display based on gender. Host need not overthink this. I think you're scamming me. Romantic attachment. Attraction? You literally rigged the system to make every woman on this planet fall in love with me. What kind of perverted algorithm is this? I looked at Alia. 3 meters too. Then I thought about all the other giant women in this tribe. All 3+ meters tall. All apparently susceptible to my 918 charm stat. A cold shiver ran down my spine. If a group of them ever decided to just take me, I wouldn't even be able to resist. Especially Alia with her maxed out affection and enough combat power to bench press a building. Host need not worry. The system records emotional states only. It does not force emotional development. Host may choose interaction style freely. Also, height differences do not affect the combat system. Focus on getting stronger. Height differences are an irrelevant factor. Easy for you to say. You're not the one looking up at everyone's belly button. Lingchen? Are you okay? Alia's worried voice snapped me back. I'd been standing there arguing with my brain for too long, making weird faces. I'm fine. Totally fine. I waved my hands. Then I took a breath and decided to go for it. Alia, I have to tell you something. I'm different. I can directly absorb crystal cores without getting hurt. It converts straight into combat power. Her eyes went wide. She grabbed my shoulders, a little too hard, then immediately let go, terrified she'd broken me. Are you serious? You can absorb cores directly? That's impossible. It's true. My body is special. I can handle the wild energy and turn it into strength. That's why I need you to take me hunting. If I get enough cores, I can level up fast. She stared at me for a long moment. Then her face exploded into the biggest smile I'd ever seen. She scooped me up and hugged me, pressing me right between her. Look, imagine 2 giant warm pillows the size of my entire head, each. That's where my face went. I couldn't breathe, but I also couldn't complain because she was so happy. This is amazing, Lingchen. I knew you were special. Then she put me down and went serious mode. But we're still being careful. I'll take you to the low-rank monster zone near the castle. Those creatures are nothing to me. I'll do all the killing. You just pick up the crystals. Zero danger. I felt genuinely warm inside. She didn't question me, didn't doubt me, didn't ask for proof. She just immediately started planning how to keep me safe while helping me get stronger. Thank you, Alia. Thank me for what? She laughed and ruffled my hair like I was a puppy. You're my man. Of course I'm going to protect you. Your man. There it is again. I didn't even get a vote. She grabbed her massive sword. The blade alone was taller than me, strapped on her silver battle armor, and the whole room filled with high-rank warrior energy. Standing next to her felt like standing next to a tank. A very pretty, very affectionate tank that wanted to marry me. The castle gates opened. Morning sunlight poured in. Out walked Alia, tall and majestic and terrifying, holding the hand of me, a comparatively tiny human in alien clothes, being led along like a toddler on his first day of preschool. Guards stared. Nobody dared say a word. They just bowed respectfully while clearly dying to gossip. She held my hand the entire way. Her palm completely swallowed mine. Warm and strong and way too gentle for someone who could crush boulders. I looked up at her as we walked. She stood tall and proud, her armor gleaming in the sun, her figure absolutely ridiculous in proportions that defied all reason. Each one bigger than my head. By a lot. This is my life now. being walked to monster hunting like a kindergartner being taken to school by the world's most overpowered, oversized, head over heels in love mom girlfriend. But you know what? If this gets me crystal cores and combat power, I'll hold that giant hand all day long. Priorities, people. Priorities. Alia had one rule: stay 2 meters behind her at all times. Safety distance. Like I was a toddler near a swimming pool. Under 10 times gravity, I walked like a baby deer on ice. Every step was a full-body workout. Meanwhile, Alia strolled along like she was taking a casual Sunday walk through a park. Show off. We reached a massive crack in the ground. She peered over the edge. The nest entrance is 30 meters down. 30 meters down. Alia didn't hesitate. She jumped off the cliff, tapped her toes on the rock wall twice mid-air to slow down, and landed on a ledge below without making a sound. 3 meters and 20 centimeters of pure warrior grace. Like a giant, deadly ballerina. Me? I grabbed a vine and climbed down like a sweaty, terrified caterpillar. By the time I reached the bottom, dripping with sweat and gasping for air, she'd already been scoping out the cave entrance for 5 minutes. Probably filed her nails too. The cave entrance was covered in dark red slime. Lovely. Like walking into a giant monster's nostril. Inside was even worse. My stomach did backflips. It was a massive natural cavern, 15 meters high, over 100 meters across. And it stank. Then 6 creatures burst out of 3 tunnels at once. Imagine a rat crossed with a bat, then blow it up to the size of a car. Black iron armor plating all over their bodies. Giant pincers on their heads that made horrible metal grinding sounds when they opened and closed. Acid dripping from their mouths. Acid from their mouths. I nearly lost my breakfast, lunch, and every meal I'd ever eaten. The 6 bugs spread out in a fan formation. Their pincers started clicking rapidly. They were calling for backup, sending out the, "Hey guys, food is here," signal. "I'm going in," Alia said quietly. And then she became a blur. Her first step cracked the stone floor. The shockwave alone made me stumble. She swung that massive sword. No fancy moves, no dramatic poses, just one clean horizontal slash from right to left. The first bug's iron armor split open like wrapping paper. Its body was cut clean in half. Guts sprayed 5 meters across the cave. She didn't even pause. Using her momentum, she spun and flipped the blade upward into the second bug. It tried to block with its pincers. The pincers shattered on contact. Bug number 2, deleted. Bugs 3 and 4 charged from both sides at the same time. She didn't even look at them. One casual swing. Both split open simultaneously. Like she was slicing butter with a lightsaber. 2 seconds. For kills. I counted. The last 2 bugs finally had their, "oh no" moment. They started backing up, pincers clicking frantically. The universal monster language for, "Help, someone please help. She's insane." Alia didn't give them the chance. 2 wet thuds. 2 more corpses. 6 bugs. Done. She flicked slime off her blade like it was a minor inconvenience. "Go," she said. "Collect the cores." I ran in and started harvesting crystal cores from the dead bugs like the world's most enthusiastic garbage collector. This was my job. My entire contribution to the team. She kills everything. I pick up the shiny rocks. We were like those couples in video games where one person carries and the other person loots. Over the next 20 minutes, it became a full-on massacre. Wave after wave of bugs came from deeper in the cave, 10, 15, 20 at a time, charging in to avenge their fallen friends. Every single one met the same fate. Alia's fighting style was brutally simple. No combos. No special moves. Just, big sword go swoosh, bug go splat. One swing, 1 kill. Sometimes 1 swing, 2 kills. She was a walking bug exterminator with a blade the size of a surfboard. I just ran around behind her scooping up crystal cores like a kid at an Easter egg hunt. 20 cores. 35. 50. 100. The pile kept growing. By the time she split the last bug in half, I had collected 250 low-rank crystal cores. 250. The cave went silent. Nothing left alive except us and some pulsating eggs that I tried very hard not to think about. Alia casually shook the slime off her sword and scanned the room one more time. "We're done. Let's go." I couldn't help asking. "Alia, how much of your power did you just use?" She blinked, surprised by the question. Thought about it for a moment. "Against these low-rank bugs?" Maybe 30%. 30%. She just annihilated an entire cave full of armored, acid-spitting nightmare creatures using 30% of her strength. Like doing your taxes with one hand while eating a sandwich with the other. Barely an inconvenience. Meanwhile, any one of those bugs would have eaten me alive in about 0.3 seconds. But who cares about pride when you have 250 crystal cores burning a hole in your pocket? Let's move, Alia said. Grab onto me, huh? Before I could finish that thought, she scooped me up with one arm and tucked me against her side like a sack of rice. Her other hand held that massive sword. Then she ran at the cave wall, the vertical wall, and just ran straight up it. Like gravity was a suggestion she chose to ignore. 30 meters of sheer cliff face, conquered in a few breaths. We popped out at the top just as the sky was getting dark. So that was my first monster hunt. Final score. Alia, approximately 250 kills, 0 scratches, used 30% effort, looked cool the entire time. Me, 0 kills, 0 scratches, because I stood far away, collected 250 shiny rocks, got carried home like groceries. The ultimate power couple. The warrior goddess and her professional loot goblin. We got back to the castle late at night. Before I went to my room, Alia pulled out a small leather pouch and handed it to me. What's this? 100 mid-rank crystal cores. From the tribe's warehouse. For you, I opened the bag. 100 deep green crystals, each the size of a pigeon egg, glowing quietly inside. The system immediately lit up like a slot machine. Detectable energy source. 100 mid-rank cores. Convertible to attribute points. Alia, these are way too valuable. I can't. She pressed my hand shut. You want to get strong fast, right? Then take them. Thank you, Alia. You're really good to me. You're my man. Obviously I'm good to you. She said it like it was the most natural fact in the universe. Like water is wet. Sky is blue. Alia spoils Lingchen. She left me to train, and I locked the door. I dumped all the crystals onto the table. 250 low rank from the cave hunt, plus 100 mid-rank from Alia. 350 total. My eyeballs practically turned into dollar signs. System. Start absorbing. All of them. Confirmed. Converting to attributes. I sat cross-legged on the floor and went into full gamer grind mode. One crystal after another. Energy flooding through my body like liquid lightning. My muscles expanding, my bones hardening, my reflexes sharpening. It felt like being microwaved from the inside, in a good way. The numbers on my stat panel went crazy. Strength. 15, 30, 50, 100, 200, 348 agility. 12, 40, 100, 200, 345 constitution. 113, 140, 200, 300, 453 charm. Still 918, because apparently that's my defining trait. Overall combat power, 1,146. Mid-rank peak. I stood up and cracked my knuckles. Every joint popped like firecrackers. I threw a punch and the air cracked. A sonic boom, in 10 times gravity. I pressed my fingers into the stone wall and my fingertips sank half a centimeter into solid rock. So this is what real power feels like. Ha ha ha. Yesterday, I was weaker than a sick chicken. Today I'm mid-rank peak. Who else? I'm unstoppable. Ha ha ha. I was flexing alone in my room at midnight like an absolute lunatic, and I didn't care. Next morning, wedding day, the castle courtyard was packed. Over 1,000 tribe members, all dressed in their finest monster leather outfits and glowing plant fiber robes. Bone necklaces, dyed vine bracelets, the whole prehistoric fashion show. The men averaged over 3 meters. Women over 2.5. A few 5-meter megagiants towered over the crowd like walking apartment buildings. And there I was, 1 meter, 88, standing in the ceremonial circle wearing a wedding outfit Alia had custom-made for me. It was still too big. I looked like a kid wearing his dad's suit. 1,000 pairs of giant eyes stared at me. Curious, judging, jealous, disgusted. Take your pick. Don't be nervous, Alia whispered beside me. She was wearing a pure white ceremonial robe. 3 meters 2 of her, looking less like a warrior and more like some kind of sacred priestess. Beautiful in a way that made it hard to look at and hard to look away from. I'm not nervous, I told her. True story. I wasn't a walking corpse anymore. I could actually hold my own now. Sort of. The elders started chanting ancient prayers. Weird syllables, haunting melody. Something about praising the planet, thanking the hunt, praying for babies, babies, at MY wedding. Moving on, halfway through the ceremony, because of course nothing can ever just go smoothly, the crowd parted and a mountain of a man pushed his way into the circle. Nearly 4 meters tall, shirtless, covered in battle scars, the nastiest one running from his left shoulder to his right hip, like someone had tried to unzip him with a claw. Dark brown hair braided into dozens of tiny braids, each tipped with a piece of bone. He looked like the final boss of a video game you're not ready for. My system panel popped up. Kalong, Greenwood Tribe high-rank warrior, early stage height, 3.92 meters loyalty, -100, mortal enemy, -100. What the? How much does this dude hate me? The scale goes from 0 to 100 for positive feelings. This man had somehow maxed out the opposite direction. He didn't just dislike me. He wanted me dead, buried, dug up, and killed again. He stopped 5 meters in front of me, looked down, way down, I barely reached his waist, and grinned. His teeth were stained dark red from chewing some iron plant. He looked like he'd just finished eating someone. Alia, his voice boomed across the plaza. This is your chosen mate? This creature that's smaller than our children, the crowd gasped. Alia stepped in front of me, voice cold as ice. Kalong, today is my wedding ceremony. If you have any respect for this tribe, step back. Now, respect, he laughed. Full villain laugh. I've killed countless monsters for this tribe. My trophy pillar has the skull of a thunder serpent carved on it. And this runt, he jabbed a finger at me. What has he killed? He probably needs you to protect him from low-rank bugs. Every word was true. And that's exactly why it stung. I felt Alia's body tense. Combat mode activated. The chief tried to intervene. Kalong, the prayer festival is sacred. Any disputes can wait. Wait? Kalong cut him off. Wait until this outsider becomes Alia's husband? Until he eats our food, uses our resources, maybe even has children with her? A weak outsider? Why should we allow this? He took one step forward. The ground shook. By ancient tribal law, his voice echoed across every stone in the courtyard. Anyone who disputes a marriage can issue a blood courage challenge. Loser forfeits. Winner takes the right. Chief, you haven't forgotten this law, have you? Dead silence. The entire crowd held their breath. Blood courage challenge. Hadn't happened in 20 years. The old folks looked worried. The young ones looked thrilled. Giant popcorn moment. The chief grimaced. That law applies between tribe members. Ling Chun is a guest. It doesn't. Then change the rules, Kalong said without blinking. Or are we bending tribal law for one human now? Checkmate. Political genius, this giant meathead. Alia's hand gripped her bone blade. She was about to explode. But then a hand, my hand, gently pressed down on her wrist. I stepped out from behind her, walked right up to Kalong, tilted my head all the way back to look up at this man who was literally more than twice my height. His kneecap was at my chest level. Mid-rank versus high rank. There was still a gap, but I knew something he didn't. I accept. The plaza erupted. Alia spun around, golden eyes wide with shock. Ling Chun, you. But, I said, keeping my eyes on Kalong, not today. Give me 7 days. 7 days from now, right here under the totem pillar. Life or death, no complaints. You in, truth? I only needed 1 day of crystal farming to surpass him completely. But I didn't want to humiliate a member of Alia's tribe instantly. Give him a week. Let him cool down. Maybe rethink his life choices. Who am I kidding? I just wanted a dramatic build-up. Kalong studied me, trying to figure out if I was bluffing or genuinely insane. After a few seconds, he grinned again. 7 days? Sure. That gives you and Alia a few more nights together. He licked his lips. Because after 7 days, you'll just be a corpse. He turned and walked off. Ground shaking with every step. The ceremony was ruined. The chief sighed and called it off. The crowd scattered, buzzing with gossip. Alia grabbed my arm so hard, I felt my bones creak. Are you crazy? Kalong is a high-rank warrior. You're not even. Alia, I turned to her and smiled. Look at me. Really look. Notice anything different? She paused. Stared. Her eyes went wide. You broke through to mid-rank? Since when? Yesterday you were barely low rank. How is that possible? I told you. I can absorb crystal cores directly. Leveling up is easy mode for me. Ha! She actually laughed. Full, delighted, proud laughter. I knew I chose right. You really are different. I mentally rolled my eyes. Yeah, if your 918 charm-affected brain wasn't controlling you, the different thing you would have done to me was chop me in half the first time we met. These next 7 days, I said, take me hunting every day. Give me more cores. In 1 week, I'll show this entire tribe what I'm made of. Deal, Alia beamed. Let's do it. I turned toward the sunset, struck my best dramatic pose, and declared, in 7 days, I'll show them all what a true genius looks like. The system chimed in. Host. Without me, you couldn't even beat a house cat. Shut up, trash system. Don't interrupt me when I'm having my cool moment. The wedding ceremony was the simplest event in the history of weddings. No flowers, no cake, no DJ. Just a 4-meter-tall grandpa with white hair standing under a totem pole, mumbling some ancient words for 10 minutes, and boom, married. That's it. I'm a husband now. To a 3-meter-2 warrior woman who kidnapped me 4 days ago. My mom would be so proud. 1,000 giants packed the courtyard, staring at me like I was a hamster who just married a human. Which, from their perspective, is basically what happened. I could hear everything they were whispering, thanks to my enhanced hearing. And let me tell you, giant people have absolutely zero chill when it comes to gossip. That's the little run Alia chose? He looks like an unfinished baby. He's so tiny. But wow, he's handsome. I want to marry him too. 1 punch. That's all it would take. 1 punch and he'd fly into next week. Alia is a high-rank genius warrior. Her husband should be at least her level. That shrimp probably can't even beat a low-rank newbie. Low rank? I doubt he's even that. Every single comment was a precision-guided missile aimed at my self-esteem. But I stood there with a straight face, hands at my sides in the warrior's respectful stance Alia taught me. Dignified. Composed. Internally screaming. The worst part? They weren't even trying to whisper quietly. They didn't think they needed to. I was so small and insignificant to them that hiding their opinions felt unnecessary. Like trash talking in front of a hamster. What's it going to do? Get offended? Yes. Yes, it is offended. After the ceremony, the chief pulled me aside. For meters 2 of ancient authority, walking slowly so my little legs could keep up. We went through the castle, and everything reminded me that this world was not built for me. The stairs were half a meter tall each. I had to HOP to climb them. Door frames were 3.5 meters minimum. I felt like a 5-year-old sneaking into his dad's office. We entered his study. Giant stone desk. Beast skin map spread across it. Monster skulls glowing in the corner. Weapons covering the walls. Very cozy if you're a 3-meter warrior. Slightly terrifying if you're me. He sat down in a stone chair that was basically a small stage, looked at me, and got right to business. Alia insisted on this marriage. It's her right as a high-rank warrior. But you need to know some things. Go ahead. I don't care where you came from. She chose you. Just don't break her heart. I won't. Alia's been amazing to me. Even though she literally abducted me, I actually think she's pretty great. He seemed satisfied. Then I asked him to tell me about this continent, and he pulled out the beast skin map. Our continent is called the Red Earth continent. It's enormous. You can't cross it without serious strength. There are other continents beyond it, but I've never been there. He pointed to a tiny green dot on the map. We're here. The Forgotten Hills, southeast edge. Our Greenwood tribe is one of 17 small tribes in this area. 17 tribes. And we were apparently one of the weaker ones. Getting bullied by neighbors regularly. Alia was their only hope, the tribe's #1 genius warrior. So when she suddenly announced she was marrying you, the chief said, I was shocked. And worried. Fair. Very fair. Then he dropped a bomb. Alia is only 82 years old. She has a long future ahead of her. I blinked. Twice. I'm sorry, 82. Yes. She looks young because she is young. She looks like she's in her 20s. Our people live between 300 and 500 years. I did the math in my head. 82 out of 400-ish average lifespan. That's roughly equivalent to a 20-year-old human. So my wife is basically a college-age girl. An 82-year-old college-age girl who is 3 meters tall and could bench press a building. This planet is insane. The chief kept going, voice flat and blunt. By tribal law, marriage partners should be within 1 major realm of each other in combat strength. You are nowhere close to Alia's level. You fight like one of our toddlers. Ouch. Called a toddler by Grandpa Giant. On my wedding day. Beautiful. What he didn't know was that I'd already hit mid-rank. I had the system hide my power level. No need to show my cards yet. But even mid-rank was still a full realm below Alia's high rank. He was technically right. For now, give me a few more days of crystal hunting, and I'd be stronger than everyone in this room, this castle, and probably this entire zip code. By all our rules, the chief said, you don't deserve her. Brutal honesty. No sugarcoating. Just a 4-meter-tall grandpa telling me I'm not good enough on the day I married his tribe's greatest warrior. But she insisted, and I couldn't stop her. He let out a sigh that sounded like wind blowing through a canyon. So please, just never hurt her. The room went quiet. I stood there, a 1-meter-88 human in oversized alien wedding clothes, having just received the most intimidating father figure talk in the history of any species. So let me recap my situation. I'm married to an 82-year-old teenager. I live in a castle built for people twice my size. Half the tribe thinks I'm a joke. The other half wants to steal me. A 4-meter psychopath wants to kill me in 7 days. The chief thinks I'm as strong as an infant, and I have to jump to get through doorways. But secretly, I'm stacking power like a savings account with compound interest. Every crystal core is another step up. Every day is another level. 7 days, how long? Then this, toddler, is going to make you sit down. The chief wasn't done with me yet. Alia is our tribe's hope, he said, every word heavy as a boulder. She might be the one who leads us out of this wasteland, who gives us a real future. And now she's chosen you. So you have one job. Don't become her weakness. Don't distract her. Don't get her hurt. And don't you dare get her killed. I looked him straight in the eyes. Well, straight up into his eyes. For meters of ancient authority staring down at 1-meter-88 of alien husband. Chief, Alia's been good to me. She gave me shelter and respect. I won't make fancy promises. But as long as I'm alive, I won't be dead weight. And as for whether I'm worthy, I let myself smile, just a little. Strength can be built, right? He stared at me for so long I thought he was about to squash me. Then, barely, just barely, the corner of his stone-carved face twitched upward. Interesting little man, he leaned back. About Kalong's blood courage challenge, you know I can't interfere. Alia can't fight for you either. You're on your own, I know. If you win, nobody will publicly question you again. If you lose, he didn't finish. He didn't need to. I won't lose. He raised an eyebrow but said nothing more. Then the door opened. Alia appeared in the doorway wearing a dark teal ceremonial robe. Even in a simple outfit, her figure was. Let's just say the robe was working very hard to contain the situation. The chief looked at her, looked at me, and waved his hand. Go. Alia walked over and looked down at me. I was getting used to this. Everyone looking down at me, but her size up close still triggered something primal in my brain that screamed, this creature is bigger than you. Run. Lingchen, time to go home. And then she did something I was not prepared for. She bent down, scooped me up in both arms, and princess carried me. Full princess carry. One arm under my back, one under my knees. My feet left the ground. My dignity left the building. Wait, Alia. Put me down. I can walk. You walk too slow, she said, like this was the most obvious thing in the world. It takes you 20 minutes to get back to our tower. I can carry you there in 3. But this isn't. People are watching. Oh, they were watching all right. Every giant in the hallway stopped and stared. Curious faces. Surprised faces. Jealous faces. Amused faces. A group of young giant women covered their mouths and giggled while pointing at us. I was being princess carried through a castle full of 3-meter-tall aliens on my wedding night. If anyone from Blue Star could see me right now, my reputation as a tough, independent astronaut would be vaporized. What's wrong with it? Alia asked, already walking out of the hall. You're my husband. Me carrying you is completely within tribal tradition. But she started climbing the tower stairs. With me, in her arms. Going up steep stone steps at full speed while holding a grown man like he weighed nothing. Not even slightly out of breath. To keep from falling, I instinctively grabbed the front of her robe. She laughed. A low, rumbling chuckle I could feel vibrating through her entire chest and into my body. She was so pleased with herself. I gave up fighting and just let it happen. The night sky on Kepler was deep purple-red. I tried to tilt my head up to see Alia's face, but my view was completely blocked by her chest. 2 enormous obstacles between me and eye contact. each one bigger than my entire head. The view was, well, it was a view. I'll leave it at that. My emotions were a cocktail of contradictions. Embarrassed? Absolutely. I'm a 28-year-old man. Back on Blue Star, I was the protector, the leader, the one who carried other people. I once crash-landed a spaceship on an alien planet, and my first thought was, calculate survival odds. I don't do vulnerability. I don't do being carried. But also, if I'm being completely honest, it felt kind of nice, like being a kid again, held by my mom. Safe, warm. That feeling I hadn't allowed myself to have in years because there was always a mission, always a responsibility, always 8 billion people counting on me. And Alia didn't care what anyone thought. She didn't care about the stares or the whispers. She only cared about one thing right now, getting me to our room. Our wedding room. Ling Chun, she said, her voice calm and steady as her footsteps echoed up the spiral staircase. Tonight, I want you to truly become my man. My brain short-circuited. Blue screen of death. System reboot required. Are giant women on this planet all this direct? This shameless? This absolutely impossible to say no to. She smelled like fresh grass and something soft and sweet. I could feel every subtle shift of her muscles as she climbed. Her heartbeat was steady and strong against my side. I stopped resisting. What was the point? We reached the top floor. She kicked the door open. No lock, of course. This tribe apparently hadn't invented the concept of privacy, and walked inside. Then she gently, so gently, set me down on the bed. Soft fur blankets. Warm room. She straightened up and looked down at me. Those pale gold eyes of hers were glowing faintly in the dim room like 2 little moons. Her expression was calm, but underneath that calm was something intense and unmistakable. Ling Chin. Tonight, her voice was steady. Not a single waver. We consummate our marriage. I stared at her. Excuse me, what? Consummate, she blinked. The tiniest flicker of uncertainty crossed her face. You don't want to? Should I leave then? I'll leave, she said it twice. I'll leave, like a puppy who brought you a ball and you didn't throw it. I sighed the deepest sigh of my entire life across 2 planets. Well, you're already here, look. There was no escape. The door had no lock. She was 3 meters tall. She had max affection. The wedding was official. The chief had given his blessing. The entire tribe was expecting this. And she was, despite everything, genuinely beautiful in a way that scrambled my brain. So fine. Fine. Let's do this. I can handle it. Probably. Maybe. Hopefully. The real question wasn't whether I could survive. It was whether my lower half could. There I was, standing in a stone bedroom, looking up at my wife. 3 meters and 20 centimeters of warrior woman towering over me, her shadow swallowing me whole like I was standing under a skyscraper. The ceiling was low, which somehow made her look even bigger. I took a deep breath. The 10 times gravity air always feels heavy in your lungs, like breathing soup. I tilted my head back, locked eyes with those faintly glowing gold irises, and summoned every molecule of courage my body had ever produced. Alia, take off the armor. I'm telling you, armor off, strategy, establish dominance. Even if the size difference between us was literally adult to toddler, I could not let her control the mood. A man has his pride, even a man who's half her height and a tenth of her strength. She froze. Her porcelain cheeks slowly turned pink, then red, then full-on crimson. She tilted her head away, dodging my stare, and her voice dropped about 8 octaves. Okay, don't be so aggressive about it. She was being shy. The woman who ripped my safety pod open like a cereal box. The woman who slaughtered 250 armored bugs without breaking a sweat. Blushing, because I told her to take off her armor. The 918 charm is doing things I never signed up for. She reached for the first bone clasp on her chest plate. Click. The first piece hit the stone floor with a heavy thud that echoed through the silent room. My breathing hitched. Just a little. Click, click, click. Second, third, fourth piece. Armor raining down like metal hailstones. When the last piece dropped, all she had left was a thin undershirt made of some impossibly soft animal fur, clinging to every single curve like it was painted on. My pupils contracted. Look, I'd imagine what she looked like under all that battle gear. She was 3 meters too. Everything was going to be proportionally large. I knew that. I was prepared for that. I was not prepared for that. Lines and curves that defied physics. broad, powerful shoulders flowing into a sculpted back, then a waist that was impossibly narrow by comparison, then hips and legs built like they could kick through castle walls while still looking like they belonged on a runway. And up top, the shadows cast in the dim light were deep. Like architectural. Like someone had engineered these specifically to short-circuit male brains. I swallowed. Hard. My throat made a gulping sound that was embarrassingly loud in the dead quiet room. Brother, I said to myself, to a very specific part of myself, you need to step up tonight. 3 parts nervousness. 7 parts pep talk. Then the shadow moved. I didn't even see her hand coming. 1 second she was standing there. Next second her enormous palm, smooth, pale, fingers longer than my forearm, wrapped around my waist and lifted me off the ground. My feet dangled 30 centimeters in the air. I was now eye level with her collarbone. I could see her face above me. Those perfect features, those golden eyes, staring at me without blinking. Let's begin, she said. Low, direct, like she was announcing the start of a military operation. I was hanging in the air, held by one hand, my entire body trapped in her grip like an action figure. And my brain's emergency alarm went from yellow to maximum red. Wait, I blurted out, and even I could hear the panic leaking into my voice. Alia, isn't this going a little fast? Usually people need to, build emotional connection first, some preliminary. What else is needed? She tilted her head. Her hair brushed across my shoulder. The wedding vows were spoken. Tribal law says tonight is consummation night. Her voice vibrated through her chest. I could feel the rumbling traveling through her hand, through my body, all the way down to downtown. No, what I mean is, my brain was running at maximum processing speed, trying to formulate any coherent argument. Too late. Her face drifted closer. Slowly, those gold-flecked eyes growing larger and larger in my vision until I could see my own terrified reflection in them. I gave up. Every logical argument. Every attempt at delay. Every shred of resistance. Gone. Pure instinct took over. 2.5 minutes later. Time stopped making sense. When I tried to remember it afterward, all I got were broken fragments. Flashes. Sensory overload. Like trying to recall a dream that was too vivid. When the room finally went quiet again, I was lying next to Alia like a small child sleeping beside a parent. The size difference was, imagine a regular pillow next to a king-size bed. That was us. Ling Chen, you were amazing, she murmured, voice lazy and satisfied and warm, like a cat in a sunbeam. It took me 3 full seconds to process that sentence. My man really is something special, she added, dripping with pride. The kind of pride you hear from someone showing off a trophy. I stared at the ceiling in silence for 2 seconds. Then, internally, I performed the most massive eye roll in human history. Amazing? Don't lie to me, woman. At least 99 out of your 100 affection points are welded in place by my stupid 918 charm stat. If you weren't drugged by my magical handsomeness, you would have inspected my performance. Stamped rejected on my forehead, and thrown me out the window like defective merchandise. But out loud, I just cleared my throat. Voice still embarrassingly hoarse, and croaked. Haha. Yeah, you know it. Zero confidence behind those words. Absolutely none. I was fooling nobody. Except apparently I was fooling Alia, because she seemed completely satisfied with this answer. She laid back down and wrapped her enormous arm around me, pulling me gently against her side. My cheek pressed against her ribcage. Through her skin, through the firm muscle underneath, I could feel her heartbeat. Thump, thump, thump. Slow, powerful, steady as a war drum. Each beat vibrating through my entire body like a metronome measuring the pulse of this alien world. It was oddly peaceful. Hey, Alia, I said, breaking the silence. I craned my neck to look up at her jawline, which was about all I could see from this angle. Tomorrow, take me hunting again. I need to get stronger as fast as possible. Okay, she said softly. Her fingers found my hair, still damp and stuck to my forehead, and she started combing through it. Slowly, clumsily, like she'd never done this before, but was trying very hard to get it right. I believe in you. Thank you. Alia, she didn't answer. She just kept holding me. The stone room went completely silent. Just 2 sets of breathing, slowly sinking together. And wrapped in that warm, oversized embrace. held like something small and precious by someone who could crush mountains. I fell asleep. My first night as a married man. On an alien planet. With a wife twice my height. After a performance I will never discuss in detail. Day 1 of married life. Survived. Barely. Day 2 of married life. My wife took me to work. We pushed through waist-high red ferns. Waist-high for her, which meant chest-high for me. Every one of her steps covered 3 meters. I had to jog just to not fall behind. She was taking a leisurely stroll. I was running a marathon. Half an hour later, we stopped at another crack in the ground. This one was wider than yesterday's, and from deep below came this horrible scratching sound. Thousands of shells grinding against each other. Like a million cockroaches having a dance party. Rock-skin-tied ants, Alia whispered, hand already on her blade. Their nest is below, but this time, I had a revelation. Wait, I grabbed her wrist, which required me to raise my entire arm above my head like a kid reaching for cookies on the top shelf. Change of plan, she looked down at me, confused. Beat the monsters to their last breath. Don't kill them. Leave the final hit for me. See, I'd been so excited about absorbing crystal cores yesterday that I completely forgot a basic feature of my own system. Killing monsters myself gives me freely distributable attribute points. Points I can put anywhere I want. The crystal cores auto-distribute evenly across my stats, but kill points? Those go into a savings account I can spend however I choose. 2 income streams. Crystal cores for bulk leveling. Personal kills for precision upgrades. It's like having a salary and a side hustle. Ha 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 ha. I burst out laughing like a madman. Couldn't help it. The future was so bright, I needed sunglasses. Alia stared at me like I'd lost my mind. Her eyebrows pinched together with worry. Lingchen, are you okay? Is it because of last night? Are you hurting somewhere? I'm fine. Never been better. Let's go? Remember, leave them one breath from death. Final blow is mine. She still looked concerned, but did what she always does. Trusted me completely, asked nothing, jumped into the pit. What followed was the most hilariously lopsided assembly line in gaming history. Alia became a surgical destruction machine. Her blade would crack open the ants' rock-hard shells, slice off their legs, cut their antennae, but she deliberately avoided every kill shot. Each ant was the size of a small cow, screaming and thrashing on the ground, completely helpless but technically alive. Then I'd waddle up behind her with my weapon of choice, a small stone hammer I borrowed from the tribe's storage room, because her giant sword was literally too heavy for me. I was out here with a hammer while my wife wielded a blade bigger than my body. I'd find the soft spot where Alia had cracked their armor open, raise the hammer over my head with both hands, and smash. Ding. Rockskin tied ant killed. 5 freely distributable attribute points stored. Ding. 5 points stored. Ding. 1. The notification sounds played in my head like a slot machine hitting jackpot over and over. Each little ding was pure dopamine. I was the laziest, most spoiled power leveler in the universe. My wife did 99.9% of the work, and I showed up at the end to bonk each monster with a hammer and collect the rewards. Alia, meanwhile, was expertly prying open dead ants and extracting crystal cores. She pushed the whole pile over to me without hesitation. These cores are higher quality than yesterday's bugs. Want to absorb them now? Hold on. I resisted the urge. First, I had questions. System, can I freely distribute the points from crystal core absorption like the kill points? No. Crystal core points are auto-distributed evenly across your 3 main stats. Figures. A little disappointing, but fine. Bulk auto-distribution from cores, precision targeting from kills. 2 channels, full control. Then another question that had been bugging me. System, why does my stat panel have 4 attributes instead of 3? Strength, agility, constitution, and charm? I want an explanation. The system actually paused. 3 whole seconds of silence. That had never happened before. The charm attribute is the host's natural innate trait. It was not created by this system. This system merely detected, measured, and displayed it numerically on the panel. You liar. You slapped a charm stat onto my profile in a world full of giant women. You're trying to get me killed. Or worse, you're trying to turn me into some kind of interspecies playboy. Is that your plan? Make me the galaxy's first involuntary harem protagonist? Lingchen? Why are you spacing out again? Alia's voice yanked me back to reality. She was crouching in front of me, Enormous frame perfectly still, golden eyes watching me with that same patient, trusting concern. I looked up at her, then down at my tiny hammer, then at the pile of crystal cores, then back at her. Let's keep going. Next cave. She nodded and stood up, blade ready. Off we went. The warrior goddess and her hammer-wielding loot goblin, grinding levels in alien bug caves on their honeymoon. Most couples go to the beach. We go to monster extermination. Romantic? No. Efficient? Absolutely. We got back from clearing out another monster cave after dark. I slammed the stone door shut and got straight to business. System. Total up everything from today. Absorb all crystal cores. Every free point from kills goes into strength. Ding. Calculating. Absorbing. Complete. Strength. 1000 agility. 600 constitution. 600 combat power. 2200. High rank peak plus I unlocked a skill. Heavy fist ground shaker. 50% attack boost and ignores half of any same rank enemy's defense. 2 days. 2 days ago, I was a crippled astronaut who walked slower than a chicken. Now I was high rank peak. Stronger than Alia. Stronger than my wife. I punched the stone wall to test it. My fist cracked through the rock like it was styrofoam, leaving a perfect knuckle imprint with gravel raining down. Then I dashed across the room so fast, I left an afterimage. An actual shadow clone trailing behind me for a split second. I could solo high-rank monster caves now. I could go toe-to-toe with super-rank beasts. I was a walking natural disaster disguised as a short guy. I can feel it. I'm stupid strong now. Ha 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 ha. Host, you're welcome. This system is the greatest. 2 compliments and you're already getting cocky. You trash system. Next morning, I threw on clean gear and walked out. Alia was waiting in the hallway like a loyal retriever. Going hunting again today? Obviously. But today, I kill the monsters. You just stand on the side and cheer. I'm ridiculously powerful now, ha. Really? That's my man. Your crystal absorption ability is incredible. But, why do you want me to cheer? Just do it. Okay, I'll cheer. We walk side by side through the castle. Not her in front, and me scurrying behind anymore. Side by side equals partners. A 3'2" warrior goddess and a 1'88" human weapon of mass destruction walking in step. We barely made it to the central courtyard before a familiar obnoxious voice cut through the morning air. Well, if it isn't our little guest. Still hiding behind Alia's skirt today? Kalong. Of course. Almost 4 meters of dumb muscle swaggering over with his posse, smirking down at me like I was a joke he never got tired of telling. I heard you went monster hunting yesterday. He deliberately loomed over me, dripping with condescension. Did you wet yourself? Did your little legs shake when you saw the big scary bugs? You're probably still low rank at best, right? Huh? Want me to send one of my guys to spar with you? Just so you don't embarrass our tribe by crying in front of the monsters. The tribe members walking by all slowed down to watch. Giant people love drama. Everyone's eyes said the same thing. That tiny man has no chance against Kalong. Kalong, shut your mouth. Alia stepped forward, shielding me. You don't get to disrespect Ling Chin's strength. I'm just stating facts. Kalong sneered, looking past her at me. 7 days from now at the totem pillar, I'll show you what a real Kepler warrior looks like. You're nothing but trash hiding behind a woman. Here's the thing. 2 days ago, those words would have stung. Because they were true. I was hiding behind Alia. I was weak. I was a parasite freeloading off my wife's combat power. But right now, my combat power was 2,200. Kalong was a high-rank beginner. I was high-rank peak. The gap between us wasn't a gap, it was a canyon. Besides the chief, probably nobody in this entire tribe could beat me anymore. This man was standing in front of me, running his mouth like a chihuahua barking at a lion that just hadn't decided to eat him yet. I felt absolutely nothing. Not angry. Not offended. Just amused. Like watching a toddler challenge a UFC fighter. I gave Kalong one look. Just one. Calm. Flat. Completely unbothered. But something in that look made him flinch. His whole body tensed up and a visible chill ran through him. His followers actually stepped backward without realizing it. That's what real power feels like. You don't have to flex it. People just sense it. I turned to Alia casually. Don't waste time on clowns. Let's go hunt. Then I walked straight past Kalong like he was a piece of furniture. My footsteps were steady and heavy, each one pressing into the stone with controlled force. His entire crew parted like a curtain to let me through. Their bodies moved before their brains caught up. Kalong stood there frozen, watching me walk away. His face cycled through green, white, and purple. Fists clenched so hard his knuckles cracked. "You're faking it," he screamed at my back. 7 days. I'll RIP off your mask and show everyone what a fraud you are. I didn't even turn around. 7 days, buddy. You want to fight me in 7 days? In 7 days. I might have to hold back just to avoid accidentally turning you into a stain on the ground. Alia and I walked out through the castle gates, morning sunlight warming our faces. She glanced at me with a look of surprise and pride. She could feel it too, the power radiating off me like heat from a furnace. I smiled, cold and quiet. Kalong thought the totem pillar fight would expose me as a weakling. Instead, it was going to be the day this entire tribe learned that the little runt they'd been whispering about was the strongest person walking these halls. Well, second strongest. I think the chief might still have me beat. But give me another day or two. We'll see about that too. Alia followed behind me today. Behind me. For the first time since I landed on this planet, the 3-meter-2 iron tower was walking in my shadow. Well, my shadow was smaller than hers, but you get the point. We're here. Steelclaw Fox Den, straight ahead. Perfect. Today I kill. You stand back and cheer. Just yell 666. You really want me to yell 666? Yes. It's mandatory. Okay. Watch closely. Where my fists go, monsters die. 3 Steelclaw foxes burst out of the bushes. Sleek blue-black fur, claws shining like kitchen knives, screeching as they lunged at me. Yesterday's me would have hidden behind Alia screaming, "Save me, big sister." Today's me? I charged. My foot hit the ground so hard the rocks underneath shattered. I launched forward like a cannonball, right fist cocked back, and swung at the first fox. I didn't even see the impact clearly. Just heard a boom, and the fox was gone. Not dead. Gone. Vaporized. Turned to dust. Not even a bone fragment left. Alia's jaw dropped. She stood there frozen, blinking, trying to process what just happened. Even SHE couldn't one-punch a fox into oblivion. 666. Lingchen, how? You're stronger than me now? It's been 2 days. Told you. Your man is built different. The other 2 foxes stared at me for 2 full seconds like their brains needed to buffer. Wait. The tiny thing just deleted our friend? I didn't let them finish thinking. Left punch. Right punch. 2 sonic booms. 2 dead foxes. Bodies crumpled on the ground like deflated balloons. Crystal cores rolling everywhere. OH, that feels good. I cracked my knuckles, grinning like an idiot. This was video game cheat code energy. 1 punch per enemy. No skill required. Pure overwhelming violence. Like bringing a nuclear weapon to a pillow fight. 1 fox tried a sneak attack from behind. I casually sidestepped and threw a hook. Crunch. It exploded into pieces before it hit the ground. 666. 666. You're amazing, Ling Chen. Obviously. Look who's doing the punching. More foxes kept coming. Jumping from trees, crawling from behind rocks. A whole fox convention showing up to get destroyed. I stopped even moving. Just stood in one spot, swinging left and right like I was playing whack-a-mole. Boom, 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 boom. I started counting. 1, 2, 3. Hey, that one ran too fast. Doesn't count. Redo. Alia was cheering so much her mouth was getting sore. Every kill meant another 666. She was my one-woman hype squad, and she was committed. A few foxes actually landed hits on me. Their razor claws scraped my skin and left. A white scratch mark. That's it. Didn't even break the skin. Healed in 2 seconds. I was an invincible punching machine. A walking tank that hit back. After clearing the entire valley, I was still hungry for more. Got anything else? That was just a warm-up. I could go 300 more rounds. Alia looked at the sky. It was turning dark red. There's a Fangwolf cave to the west. High-rank beasts, much tougher. But we need to hurry. After dark, super-rank monsters come out. They're faster than us. Their noses can smell you from miles away. And they're stronger than me. Super-rank? My eyes lit up. Then my brain caught up. I was high-rank peak. Super-rank peak might actually be a real fight. And getting embarrassingly beaten up on day 3 of marriage was not on my to-do list. Fine. Fangwolf cave. Speed run. Home before dark. The cave stank. Like something died, rotted, came back to life, and died again. Two massive fawn wolves lunged out immediately, each the size of a small bull, with tusks sticking out like sabers. Zero fear. Pure excitement. Come at me. Let's see how tough you are. Right fist to the skull. Boom. Its head caved in. Didn't even get to whimper before it collapsed. The second wolf charged. I sidestepped, back-fisted it on the spine. Crack. Clean bone break. Down it went. That's it. Disappointing. I expected a challenge. Got another one-punch gallery. Deeper inside, more wolves. Bigger ones. Elite. Versions with thicker fur and meaner faces. Still didn't matter. I bulldozed through them like a bowling ball through pins. Fists flying, wolves dying, crystal cores piling up in mountains behind me. We walked out just as the sky went black. Some horrible shriek echoed from the distance. Sounded like a dinosaur gargling gravel. Alia grabbed my hand and bolted. Run. Super rank monsters are coming. She dragged me at full speed. I ran alongside her, but in my head I was already scheming. Next time, I'm going back for that super rank monster. Just need one more power-up. Back in the tower room. Door sealed. I collapsed into the stone chair. System, absorb everything. Ding. All absorbed. Strength. 1,676 agility. 916 constitution. 1,058 combat power. 3,650. Super rank. Late stage plus my skill leveled up. Heavy Fist now stacks 50% of my strength stat as bonus damage and ignores half of same rank defense. I threw my head back and laughed. 3 days ago, couldn't walk. 2 days ago, mid-rank. Yesterday, high-rank peak. Today, super rank late stage. Alia stared at the energy swirling around my body, her golden eyes wide with genuine shock. Even she, the woman who'd watched me go from cripple to warrior in record time, couldn't believe this. I clenched my fist, feeling power that could punch through mountains. Kalong wants to fight me? At this level, forget Kalong. I could probably take the chief. That clown has no idea what's coming. The evening settled in. Alia called from the bed. Ling Qin, come rest. I looked at her with my most regal expression, channeling every ounce of my 918 charm. Alia, undress me. Your emperor commands it. She blushed. The strongest warrior in the tribe. Blushed. Being overpowered is nice. But making a 3-meter giant woman blush on command? That's the real endgame. Morning. Day 4 on this planet. Standing at the castle gate like I owned it. Alia walked up behind me in her tight beast skin armor, all 3 meters too of pure warrior curves. Ling Qin, you were so incredible yesterday. Now, if anyone overheard that without context, they'd get the wrong idea immediately. But she was talking about the monster fighting. The monster fighting. Get your minds out of the gutter. Obviously, your man is terrifying. Let's go kill stuff. We reached the monster zone, and something beautiful happened. The creatures could sense my power. They were too scared to come out. Me, the guy who 4 days ago was a broken pancake on the ground. Now monsters were hiding from me. So I stomped the ground. Literally. Every step made the earth shake. The 10 times gravity that almost killed me on day 1. Felt like nothing now. Like walking on the moon. My body was overflowing with energy. Bugs started crawling out of the soil. Hundreds of them. Armored shells gleaming in the morning light. For days ago, one of these would have been my funeral. Now, watch this. I activated Heavy Fist. Golden energy wrapped around my right fist like a miniature sun. I swung down and punched the ground. The earth exploded. A shockwave ripped outward from the impact point. Cracks spiderwebbed across the dirt in every direction. Dozens of bugs within the blast radius just detonated. Shells shattered. Crystal cores and green goo spraying everywhere like the world's most disgusting piñata party. System notifications went brrrr in my head. Non-stop, ding 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 ding. Kill after kill after kill. One punch, 50 monsters. Dopamine levels, maximum. Alia was behind me with her weapon raised, ready to help. She froze mid-swing, her jaw hanging open. How? How? Yesterday you weren't this strong. One night, and your single punch feels stronger than the chief's. Heh. Yeah, that's what happens when you absorb a mountain of crystal cores before bed. 3 armored beasts with poisonous green spines burst out of a tunnel, way bigger than the regular bugs. The kind that would have required Alia's help a few days ago. I flickered forward. My agility was so high now I literally left an afterimage, dodged their spike attacks like they were moving in slow motion, and golden-fisted all three into instant dust. Alia stood nearby watching, arms crossed, face bright red. Not from anger, from being impressed. The most deadly warrior in her tribe was blushing because her tiny husband was punching monsters into atoms. She crouched down to help me collect crystal cores, and her fingers accidentally brushed my hand. She went even redder. The woman who rips steel-armored bugs in half with a sword was getting flustered from touching my hand. Lingchen, you're really amazing. Her voice got soft. Shy, like a completely different person from the fearsome battle goddess. When I picked you up on that red plane a few days ago, I never imagined. In just 2 or 3 days, you'd become so strong even I can't keep up. My ego inflated to roughly the size of this planet. Naturally. Do you even know who your husband is? Then, blame it on the victory high, blame it on her blushing face, blame it on temporary insanity. I did something incredibly stupid and incredibly brave. I spun around and reached for her chest. Look, she's 3 meters too. When I raise my arms, that's the only thing at my hand level. It's geometry, not perversion. Geometry. She did not see it coming. Her body jerked backward instinctively, her entire face turning the color of a ripe tomato, all the way to her ears. Eyes wide with shock. Lingchen, you're so bad. Her voice went completely soft and sweet, the exact opposite of the stone-cold killer who one-shots high-rank beasts. Then, instead of punching me into orbit, which she absolutely could, she actually leaned closer. My surprise attack made her like me more. I laughed so hard my stomach hurt. This woman, this ridiculous, beautiful, 3-meter-tall, monster-slaying, blushing giant woman. All right, that's enough for today. Let's head back. Okay, Alia, carry me home. I don't feel like walking. Sure. She crouched down, scooped me up in full princess carry, her specialty, and started walking back to the castle. My 1-meter-80 body cradled in her arms like a baby in a car seat. First time she princess carried me, I screamed and kicked. Now I was requesting it. Character development, ladies and gentlemen. Nestled in her warm, massive arms, I asked her something that had been circling my mind. Alia, will you always like me? Of course. I'll love you forever. Wherever you go, I go. We'll never be apart. Good. That's good. But deep down I wondered, if the charm effect ever wore off, would she still feel this way? Or would she wake up one day, look at me, and think, why am I married to this tiny man? I pushed the thought away. No point worrying about hypotheticals when you're being carried by a giant woman who loves you. We arrived at the castle. And guess who was waiting? Oh, look who it is. The little shrimp. What happened? Did the weakest monster beat you up so bad you can't walk? Having your woman carry you home? Pathetic. Kalong. Standing there with his chest puffed out, grinning like the world's tallest, dumbest bully. In a few days at the arena, I'm going to beat you so hard your own parents won't recognize you. Runt. Alia's expression went cold. Kalong, shut up. He's not hurt. I'm carrying him because I want to. I looked at Kalong from the comfort of my wife's arms. Warm. Comfortable. Completely unbothered. This man's combat power was what? High-rank beginner? I was super-rank late stage. The gap between us was like comparing a bicycle to a fighter jet. Alia, don't bother. He's a clown. Let's go home. Humph. Useless trash. Kalong spat. Alia carried me back to our room, still fuming. That horrible Kalong. Always bullying you. Promise me you'll destroy him at the arena. Relax. He's a clown. I don't even think about him. I leaned back on the bed and gave her my most imperial look. Now then, Alia, undress your emperor. Don't let a mere clown ruin our evening. Yes, my lord. Life on Kepler, 666b. Punching monsters into dust by day, being princess carried home by my giant warrior wife, and ending every night like an emperor. For days ago, I was dying in a crater. I think I'm doing okay. I woke up wrapped around Alia like a koala hugging a redwood tree. Didn't want to get up. Can you blame me? She was warm, she was soft, and she smelled like flowers. Her skin was flawless, her golden-flecked eyes were like tiny galaxies, and her figure was. Look, imagine the most beautiful woman you've ever seen. Then scale her up to 3 meters 2 and multiply everything by absurd. And then there was me, 1 meter 80, clinging to her like a backpack. A 28-year-old man who'd been a virgin his entire life until a giant alien woman kidnapped him and speed ran their relationship from stranger to married with benefits in 4 days. I lay there having an existential crisis about the size difference in our relationship. Certain things were just architecturally challenging. My self-esteem had taken some hits in departments I'd rather not discuss publicly. My brain started wandering into weird territory. I wonder if any guys back on Blue Star could handle a 3-meter-tall giant girlfriend? Like, actually handle it? Someone should run a survey. Ding. Host's thoughts have severely derailed from the main storyline. Return to plot immediately. The system literally yelled at me for daydreaming. Even my cheat code thinks I'm a mess. I coughed, shook off the weird thoughts, and poked Alia awake. Get up. Hunting day. Okay, today's mission, clear everything. Every monster within dozens of kilometers of the castle. Total extermination. Leave nothing alive. Alia nodded obediently and followed behind me. The #1 genius warrior of the Greenwood tribe, a high-rank late-stage fighter who could split boulders with her blade, trotting behind me like a well-behaved kitten, quietly picking up crystal cores from the monsters I obliterated, handling each one delicately like they were precious jewels. Role reversal, complete. What followed was several hours of absolute carnage. We steamrolled across the entire red plain like a lawnmower through grass. Crevices, slopes, bushes, dried riverbeds. Anywhere monsters lived, we showed up, and I punched everything into the afterlife. Iron shell crawlers, spiked jumpers, poison fang foxes, didn't matter what it was. One punch. Dead. Next. Alia barely lifted a finger. She just watched my back and made sure nothing snuck up on me. Between kills, she'd stare at me with this worshipful expression that made her look nothing like the stone-cold warrior goddess everyone else knew. She was swooning. Over me. The short guy. By the time the purple-red sun hit its peak, every monster within dozens of kilometers was gone. The ground was littered with carcasses. Alia had filled 2 massive bags with crystal cores. The air smelled like monster blood and victory. Then I had an idea. A stupid, brave, possibly suicidal idea. Alia, go back to the castle. Huh, I'm staying out here tonight. I want to see what comes out after dark. These super-rank monsters everyone's so scared of, I want to meet them face to face. Her smile vanished instantly. She grabbed my arm, eyes wide with panic. No, absolutely not. The chief said super-rank monsters roam the plains at night. They have incredible senses, they're incredibly powerful. Even the chief doesn't go out after dark? Babe, I'm ridiculously strong now. Relax, but what if something happens? Those creatures are ambush specialists. If you get surrounded, nothing will happen. Then I'm staying too. Alia, wherever you go, I go. If there's danger, we face it together. I am not leaving you alone. She said it with such iron determination that I knew arguing was pointless. 100% affection meant 100% stubborn loyalty. She'd rather die beside me than wait safely in the castle. I felt a warm squeeze in my chest. Annoying? A little. Touching? Very. Fine. Stay? But stick close to me and don't do anything reckless. Her worried face instantly broke into a huge smile, like a puppy who just got told it could stay. I'll stay right next to you. Promise. We found a hidden cave in a rocky slope. Good position, high ground, clear sight lines, dry interior. I checked every corner for monsters, cleared it, then sat in the back to rest and recharge. Alia planted herself at the cave entrance like a living fortress, golden eyes scanning the darkening horizon. The sunset painted her silhouette in gold. 3 meters too of protective warrior woman, sitting guard so her husband could nap. She looked like a statue carved by gods. The sky turned from purple-red to black. Somewhere out in the darkness, something let out a distant howl that made every hair on my body stand up. The night monsters were waking up. I'd spent 4 days on this planet going from crippled astronaut to super-rank powerhouse. I'd punched my way through every daytime creature this wasteland had to offer. Now it was time to meet the night shift. Let's see what Kepler 666b is really made of. Night fell. The purple sky went black. The red plain went dead silent. The kind of silent where even the wind sounds nervous. I sat cross-legged in our cave, eyes closed, looking like a peaceful little monk. But inside, I was about to go nuclear. System. Calculate everything from today. Cash it all in. Now, ding. Tallying today's hunt. Low-rank monsters killed. 217 mid-rank monsters killed. 73 high-rank monsters killed. 18 total crystal cores. 308 free attribute points earned. 550 ready to absorb. Absorb everything. All 350 free points into strength. Boom. 308 crystal cores detonated simultaneously inside my body. A tsunami of blue energy ripped through every bone, every muscle, every cell. My skeleton sounded like a thunderstorm. Muscles tore apart and rebuilt themselves instantly, over and over, like my body was speedrunning evolution. The system breakdown was beautiful. 217 low-rank cores equals 434 auto points, 73 mid-rank cores equals 365 auto points, 18 high-rank cores equals 360 auto points, plus 350 free points dumped into strength. New stats. Strength, 2,412. Agility, 1,302. Constitution, 1,444. Charm, 918. Forever Cursed. Combat Power, 5,158. Emperor Rank. Mid-stage. The system literally added a note. Current combat power crushes every strong warrior in green with tribe history. Every warrior in history. Not just current members. Not just the chief. Every strong person who had ever lived in this tribe across all recorded history. I was now stronger than all of them. 5 days ago I couldn't stand up. I immediately sealed all my power inside, hiding every trace of energy. From the outside, I still looked like a scrawny little 1.80 m nobody. Couldn't feel a thing from me. That's the rule. Never show your cards until you're ready to flip the whole table. Ha 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 ha. I'm invincible. I couldn't help it. One outburst. Then I went calm again. Alia, sitting guard at the cave entrance, flinched. Her massive body trembled. She turned around slowly, golden eyes locked onto me, and I could see her brain short-circuiting in real time. She couldn't see numbers. She had no scanner. But her warrior instincts, the instincts of a high-rank genius, were screaming at her that the man sitting behind her had just become something beyond comprehension. Stronger than the chief. Stronger than anyone she'd ever heard of. Ling Qin, your power. It jumped again. This energy. I can't even read it anymore. It's beyond anything I've ever sensed. Her voice was literally shaking. I strolled over to her, feeling like a king walking through his garden. Looked up at this 3'2" warrior goddess who was staring at me like I was a god who'd just descended from heaven. My hand moved on its own. Smack. Right on her butt. One clean, crisp slap that echoed through the silent cave like a gunshot. She went rigid. Her entire face turned red. Not pink, not rosy, full-on crimson, all the way to her ears. Her golden eyes went wide and watery with embarrassment. Ling Qin, stop it. The monsters are almost here. I laughed like a villain in a movie. I couldn't help it. 5 days ago this woman picked me up like a hamster. Now I was slapping her, and she was blushing about it. Character. Development. Relax. These little monsters? Watch me handle them. She nodded eagerly, eyes shining with pure worship. Then, right on cue, a roar split the night open like a bomb. Ruo-o-rare. A wave of fire blasted through the darkness, tearing the black sky apart with a massive burning crack. The temperature spiked. The air turned into an oven, and out of the flames walked a monster. A lion, 5 meters long, covered in dark red lava armor plates. Its mane was literally made of fire, actual living flames dancing around its head like a demonic crown. Its eyes burned with pure murder. Every step it took scorched the ground black, leaving smoldering footprints behind it. System scan popped up. Super rank Inferno Demon Lion Combat Power. 3,100 abilities. Fire manipulation, lava armor, lightning fast pounce. This was the thing the chief was afraid of. The nighttime apex predator that kept the entire tribe locked indoors after sunset. The monster so terrifying that even the strongest warriors refused to face it alone. Combat Power. 3,100. My combat power. 5,158. I had almost double its stats. Alia's face went white. She instantly jumped in front of me, hand on her weapon, voice tight with fear. Ling Qin, be careful. This thing is incredibly strong. Even the chief won't fight it alone. I'll hold it off. You find an opening. I gently pulled her behind me. You don't need to fight. Just watch. She looked at my back, this tiny 1 meter 80 back that used to need her protection for literally everything. And for the first time, she understood. She wasn't the protector anymore. I was. The demon lion roared again, flames erupting from its mane, the entire plain glowing orange. I cracked my knuckles. Come on, kitty. Let's see what you've got. ROARR. The Inferno demon lion was mad. 5 meters of lava-armored murder cat came flying at me like a flaming freight train. Claws glowing with molten heat, mane of literal fire, enough killing intent to make a normal person's soul leave their body. Alia covered her mouth, shaking like a leaf. In her mind, this was the monster that even the chief wouldn't fight alone. And her tiny husband was just standing there. Not dodging, not flinching, just standing. The lion's claws were inches from my face. Then I moved. One punch. Break. Golden energy exploded from my fist like a miniature sun detonating in the darkness. The shockwave ripped the fire apart, blew the flames away like birthday candles, and slammed directly into those indestructible lava claws. The claws shattered. Like glass. The armor plating across its entire body cracked and exploded outward in a chain reaction. The lion got launched backward through the air like it was hit by a truck made of lightning. Before it could even finish screaming, I was already above it. Moved so fast I left an afterimage and threw a second punch straight into its skull. Boom. Head gone. Erased. Deleted from existence. Blood, chunks, and extinguished flames rained down like the world's worst confetti. 2 punches. 2 seconds. The terrifying nighttime apex predator that kept an entire tribe imprisoned after dark, dead before it understood what happened. Absolute. Total. Embarrassing. Overkill. Alia was frozen. Completely bricked. Standing there with her mouth open, golden eyes reflecting my silhouette. This small, thin figure who had just one-punched a monster that could have killed the chief. Her brain had crashed. Blue screen of death. She couldn't speak. I casually picked up the super-rank crystal core from the lion's corpse. Cold to the touch, buzzing with insane energy. Without even looking, I tossed it over my shoulder to Alia. Keep that. Use it in the training room back home. And don't tell anyone about tonight. She caught it with trembling hands, staring at me like I was a god who'd accidentally taken human form. Ling Chin, you're so good to me. Then she bent down and kissed me. Full on the lips. No warning. Look, Alia is wonderful. She's loyal, she's brave, she's beautiful. But her mouth is proportionally large. Kissing her is like making out with a very warm, very soft satellite dish. Not bad, just a lot. But I'll admit it. Her big lips? Pretty sweet. Heh. All right, let's head back to the tribe. Okay. Walking back, my mind was already racing ahead. I was now the strongest warrior in the Greenwood tribe. Stronger than Kalong, stronger than the chief, stronger than anyone in their history. This tribe was going to become my base of operations on Kepler. Step 1, establish dominance. Step 2, build power. Step 3, somehow find a way back to Blue Star and rescue all 8 billion people still waiting for me. My ship was destroyed, communications were dead, but my people were counting on me. I hadn't forgotten. Meanwhile, back on Blue Star, in the Dragon Nation government office, a 60-year-old leader sat slumped at his desk, staring at a darkening sky. Has Ling Chin reached Kepler 666b yet? I hope that planet can sustain life. The sun grows dimmer every year. A few more decades, and it'll go dark completely. Blue Star will freeze. Everyone will die. His deputy patted his shoulder. We must believe in him. He's the best warrior we ever had. If anyone can do it, it's Ling Chun. I hope so. Day 7. The Blood Courage Challenge. Finally, the tribe's central plaza was packed. Every single member of the Greenwood tribe had shown up. Work abandoned. Chores dropped. This was the Super Bowl of giant people drama. And the crowd? They had opinions. That outsider actually showed up? He must have a death wish. Kalong is high-rank mid-stage. Top 5 in the whole tribe. He'll kill that shrimp in one hit. I bet 100 pounds of beast meat. He doesn't last 3 moves. I bet 200. The little runt won't even get to fight back. An outsider ant dares steal our women? He dies today, not a single person believed in me. Every eye in that courtyard saw the same thing. A scrawny, weak-looking alien barely taller than their children, standing quietly on one side of the arena. Head slightly bowed, shoulders relaxed, looking about as dangerous as a wet napkin. Nobody could sense my power. I'd sealed it all, hidden every trace. I looked exactly like the helpless weakling who crash-landed a week ago. Alia stood beside me, hands sweating, body tense. But her eyes? Calm, trusting. She was the only person in this entire tribe who knew what was about to happen, who had seen what I could do. Up on the high platform, the chief sat with his elders, watching me with a pitying frown. Brave kid. Too bad he's too weak. He'll probably die here today, the chief sighed. One elder actually laughed. Outsiders thinking they can climb to the top by marrying Alia? Kalong will teach him how things really work here. And across the arena? Kalong, decked out in his finest armor, holding a massive bone spear, chest puffed out, soaking in the crowd's cheers like he'd already won. The hero, the champion, the man who was about to destroy the little outsider. My combat power, 5,158. Emperor rank, mid-stage. His combat power, maybe 2,000 on a good day. I had more than double his strength. I could flick him and he'd fly across the continent. But nobody knew that. And that was the best part. I kept my head slightly lowered, looking small and scared and helpless. The entire tribe was writing my obituary in their heads. Let them. In about 30 seconds, every single person in this courtyard was going to have their world turned completely upside down. The show was about to begin. Kalong stood there looking down at me like I was a bug he was about to step on. Nearly 4 meters of scarred muscle, bone spear in hand, grinning with those creepy red-stained teeth. Outsider, he boomed, making sure the entire plaza heard him. Kneel. Beg for mercy. Cut off your own arm. Leave the greenwood tribe forever. Or I'll rip you into pieces so small they won't find enough to bury. The whole crowd burst out laughing. 1,000 giants, all absolutely certain they were about to watch me die. I slowly raised my eyes to meet his. You talk too much. Hurry up. I'm busy. The laughter stopped. Instantly, like someone unplugged the sound. Kalong's face twisted with rage. Fine. You want to die? I'll help you. The chief stood up on the high platform, took a deep breath, and announced, Blood Courage Challenge. Begin. The second those words left his mouth, Kalong exploded forward. Every muscle on his body inflated like balloons. High-rank energy erupted off him in waves, kicking up dust storms across the arena. He gripped his massive bone spear with both hands and charged at me like a runaway train. Lingchen, die. Every person in that crowd held their breath. This was the kill shot, the one-hit execution they'd all been waiting for. Some were already smiling, savoring my death before it happened. Alia's heart was pounding so loud I could practically hear it from across the arena. The spear screamed through the air, aimed directly at my chest. 1 inch away from impact. I raised one finger. One finger. Boom. The bone spear, a weapon that had killed countless monsters, wielded by the tribe's number 2 warrior with every ounce of his strength, exploded on contact with my fingertip, shattered into 1,000 pieces like it was made of crackers. The shockwave blew Kalong's hands apart, splitting his palms open, blood spraying everywhere. His face went from murderous confidence to absolute terror in 0.2 seconds. The fastest emotional speed run I've ever witnessed. Before he could even scream, I casually flicked my hand. An invisible tsunami of force slammed into him. Kalong flew backward like a ragdoll shot out of a cannon. His body smashed into the base of the totem pillar with a sickening crunch of breaking bones. Blood sprayed from his mouth. He crumpled to the ground like a puppet with cut strings. One move. One casual, effortless, I wasn't even trying move. The tribe's top 5 warrior. The man who hunted thunder serpents. The guy who'd been trash-talking me for a week. Demolished. In 1 second. The plaza went so quiet I could hear a leaf hit the ground 3 blocks away. 1,000 giants stood frozen with their mouths hanging open, eyes bulging, brains completely offline. Every sneer, every laugh, I bet 200 pounds of meat he dies. All of it frozen on their faces, now replaced by pure, raw, soul-deep fear. People's legs gave out. Giants, collapsed to the ground, unable to stand from the pressure of my unleashed aura alone. How is this possible? Kalong was one shot. That power. It's stronger than the chief. He was hiding his strength this whole time. We were mocking an emperor-rank warrior to his face? I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'll never do it again. Up on the platform, the chief leaped to his feet, face white as paper, body shaking. The elders beside him looked like they'd seen a ghost. Not one of them could speak. Alia? She was glowing. Golden eyes full of pride, adoration, and an "I told you so" energy that radiated across the entire courtyard. I walked toward Kalong, slowly, one step at a time. Every footstep landed on the crowd's collective heartbeat. 1,000 people flinched with each step I took. I stopped in front of him, looked down at his broken, bleeding, trembling body, and spoke. Quietly, but everyone heard it like thunder. You're too weak. You couldn't even make me try for 1 second. Kalong lay there, crushed in every possible way. Physically, mentally, spiritually. The man who'd sworn to destroy me, who'd called me trash and a parasite and a fraud for 7 straight days, stared up at me with nothing left but pure submission. He dragged himself forward, every movement agony, pressed his forehead to the ground at my feet, and croaked. How? How are you this strong? I'm not strong. You're just weak. Do you submit? I submit. The Greenwood tribe follows the strongest. Alia is honored to be with you. Kalong swears to follow Lord Lingchen forever. Through fire. Through death. I will never betray you. I checked with the system internally. What's his loyalty now? Ding. Kalong's loyalty has reached 80%, from -100 to 80%. In one punch. A week of hatred, deleted by a single finger flick. This man went from, I'll kill you and dance on your grave, to, I'll die for you, my lord, in literally 2 seconds. Turns out the cure for jealousy is getting punched so hard your worldview resets. I accepted his loyalty with a nod, then turned to face the crowd. I let my full emperor rank aura wash over the entire plaza. No more hiding. No more pretending. The real me, unleashed. From today, I, Ling Shun, am the Greenwood tribe's #1 warrior. I will lead you to greatness. I will make the Greenwood tribe the most powerful tribe on this entire continent. 1 second of silence. Then the eruption. Every single giant in that plaza dropped to their knees. 1,000 massive bodies hitting the ground simultaneously, the impact shaking the earth. They bowed their heads and screamed. Lord Ling Chun is invincible. Lord Ling Chn, I want to have your babies. All hail the first warrior. We follow you forever. I blinked at the baby comet. No thanks on the babies. Alia is more than enough for me. Follow me and you'll eat like kings. Well, actually, follow me and you'll starve for 9 out of every 3 meals. Wait, that came out wrong. Follow me and we'll live the good life. Yeah, that's the one. The cheering shook the hills. Literally, the sound echoed across the entire Forgotten Hills region. I stood beneath the totem pillar, center of everything. Alia on my right, golden eyes overflowing with love, loyalty, and that's my husband energy. Kalong on the ground behind me, former mortal enemy, now groveling devotee. 1,000 giants at my feet, the entire Greenwood tribe, kneeling in awe. 10 days ago, I crash-landed on this planet as a dying, broken astronaut who couldn't lift his own hand. Today, I was a god among giants. And this was just the beginning. The celebration after my victory lasted until the middle of the night. Bonfires, cheering, the whole tribe partying like they'd just won the World Cup. I figured after all that, I'd just walk back to my room, cuddle up with Alia, and pass out. I was so wrong. The walk from the totem pillar to our tower was maybe 300 meters. 300 meters. It should have taken 5 minutes. Instead, it became the most terrifying gauntlet of my entire life. 918 charm points. I'd forgotten what that meant when combined with being the tribe's new #1 warrior. Lord Lingchen, let me serve you. A 3.5-meter woman burst from the crowd wearing what I can only describe as minimal beast skin. Her chest was. They were bouncing so aggressively with each stride that I nearly went temporarily blind. My lord, I want to bear your children. Another one threw herself at my feet, kneeling, looking up at me with eyes that could only be described as unhinged worship. Lord Lingchen, you're the most attractive male I've ever seen. You're short, but you're strong. And so handsome. Take me, my lord. I don't mind being second wife. Lord Lingchen, look at me. I'm bigger than Alia. She was pointing at her chest. My butt is bigger than Alia's, another one shouted, turning around to present evidence. I stood there surrounded by 30 giant women ranging from 2.8 to 4.5 meters tall, all staring at me like I was the last slice of pizza on earth. Eyes burning with desire. Some reaching for me. One trying to pick me up. And one absolutely insane woman, started taking off her armor right there in public. What are you doing? I screamed. It's the middle of the night. In public. Have some decency. Then the temperature in the courtyard dropped about 40 degrees. What are you all doing? Alia's voice cut through the chaos like a sword through butter. She stepped in front of me, 3 meters two of pure, jealous fury, golden eyes blazing, high-rank energy erupting off her body. Get away from him. 30 giant women stumbled backward in unison. 3 full steps, like a choreographed retreat. Alia's eyes swept across every single one of them, cold enough to freeze lava. Ling Chen is my man. Anyone takes one more step forward, and I will personally throw you over the castle wall. Someone in the back muttered. Why do you get to keep him all to yourself? Yeah, Lord Ling Chen belongs to all of us. Alia's head snapped toward the voices. Because I'm the tribe's #1 genius warrior. And because I can throw any of you into next week right now. Want to test me? Necks retracted. Mouths shut. Crowd dispersed. Alia spun around, grabbed me around the waist, and tucked me under her arm like a football. Then she power-walked toward our tower at maximum speed. Hey, I can walk. No, you already scared them off. You don't understand. She glanced down at me, eyes deadly serious. When the women of our tribe encounter a truly powerful male, they are capable of anything. I opened my mouth. Closed it. She had a point. Back in our room, she deposited me on the bed and positioned herself at the door like a bouncer at an exclusive club. Arms crossed. Murder face activated. Nobody was getting through. I sat on the bed replaying what just happened. 30 women trying to rip me away from my wife in a public courtyard. One stripping. Multiple offering to bear my children. All because of 918 stupid charm points. That accidental button press on day 1 was the gift that kept on giving in the most chaotic way possible. Then, shouting outside the door. Alia, the chief sent us to serve Lord Ling Chen. This is the chief's order. You can't stop us. The tribe's #1 warrior must have attendance. Alia's jaw tightened. She was about to go nuclear, but I stood up. Let them in. She whipped around. What? If the chief sent them, we can't refuse. Besides, I actually need help with daily stuff. You can't be a warrior and a maid at the same time. She bit her lip. Hard, but eventually stepped aside. 4 giant women filed in and lined up before me. These ones were different from the mob outside. About 3 meters each, neat appearance, professional demeanor, clearly handpicked. No crazy eyes. No armor removal. Just disciplined, respectful bowing. Lord Ling Chen. Names, Avril, Linda, Sarah, Talisha. Not bad. I turned to Alia. What do you think? She scanned them with the warmth of a prison warden doing a head count. Finally, a grudging nod. Fine. But, she locked eyes with all 4 of them, voice sharp as a blade. You serve him. That's it. Any funny business and I'll make you regret being born. All 4 bowed frantically. We wouldn't dare. I tried not to laugh. Alia's jealousy was kind of adorable. Terrifying, but adorable. All right, wait outside. I'll call if I need anything. Yes, my lord. They filed out. Door closed. Alia immediately crawled onto the bed and whispered. Why did you take them? Silly girl. I need people for chores. You shouldn't have to be my bodyguard and my housekeeper. Besides, with you here, they wouldn't dare try anything. Relax. You're the only one in my heart, Alia, HMPH. You better mean that. Internally. Haha. I mean, for beautiful giant women as personal attendants? Who wouldn't want that? But Alia doesn't need to know that part. She looked down at me with those serious golden eyes. You can only have me. Understood. I reached up and pinched her cheek. Don't worry. I'm a very loyal man. She finally relaxed and pulled me into her arms. I leaned back, and my entire field of vision was immediately filled by 2 massive mountains blocking out the ceiling like a solar eclipse. A view only available at my specific height advantage. Or disadvantage, depending on perspective. She carried me to the bed. Time to sleep. I sighed deeply. Well, Here comes another night of feeling inadequate. Day 10 on Kepler, 666b. Became tribe's greatest warrior, gained a fanatical cult following, survived a mob of lovesick giant women, acquired 4 personal maids, and got princess carried to bed by my jealous wife. Not bad for a guy who was basically dead in a crater less than 2 weeks ago. Next morning, barely awake and already getting summoned. Lord Lingqin, the chief requests your presence in his study. My 4 new maids, Avril, Linda, Sarah, and Talisha, helped me get dressed in battle armor, which was completely unnecessary because I could literally punch mountains, but they insisted, and honestly it felt nice to be pampered. Sumi. I walked into the chief's study with Alia at my side. The old man stood up the second I entered. Lingqin, please sit. First, congratulations on becoming our tribe's #1 warrior. Most undisputed appointment in our entire history. Thanks, Chief. Not flattery. Just facts. He paused. Then his face went serious. But I called you here because we have a problem. He pulled out a beast skin map and pointed at 2 markers near our territory. These 2, Blood Axe Tribe and Black Rock Tribe, have been bullying us for years. Both their chiefs are super rank late stage. They keep stealing our hunting grounds and crystal resources. We've had multiple fights recently. 2 of our young warriors got injured yesterday. I looked at the map. 2 enemy tribes ganging up on us, both led by super rank fighters. My combat power, over 5,000. Their combat power, maybe 3,000 each. I almost laughed. Chief, relax. 2 super rank late stages? That's it. With me here, nobody touches the Greenwood tribe. The chief hesitated. I know you're strong, but they have numbers. Then I'll go visit their tribes personally and make them disappear. I said it like I was talking about running an errand. Because to me, it basically was an errand. The chief stared at me with an expression that said, I no longer understand what you are. He was used to being the smartest, strongest person in the room. Now a 1-meter-80 alien was casually discussing wiping out enemy tribes like it was grocery shopping. Then he brought up something else. By the way, I recently spent a fortune hiring a wandering wizard to build us a level 3 training room. That's how Alia reached high rank. But the problem is, it costs 1,000 low-rank crystals per day to operate. 1,000? Per day. The higher the level, the more it eats. Level 3 is our absolute maximum. We can barely afford to use it occasionally, let alone daily. Don't you have any wizards in the tribe? The chief laughed bitterly. Wizards? That's a sacred profession. There's celebrities everywhere they go. Why would one stay in our little backwater tribe? My brain started spinning. I called the system silently. System, can you build training rooms? Ding. Once host reaches Saint rank, the wizard profession will be unlocked. Wizard abilities include constructing training rooms, building magic formations. Wizard level can be upgraded by consuming star marrow ore. Higher wizard level equals higher training room level. What? You can do that? What's star marrow ore though? A rare energy mineral found on this planet. Locations containing it are typically occupied by monsters. Of course they are. Everything good on this planet is guarded by something that wants to eat you. Later, first things first, I looked at the chief. Do you trust me? He didn't hesitate. You're our #1 warrior and Alia's husband. If I don't trust you, who do I trust? Good. How many crystal cores does the tribe have in storage? He thought for a moment. Low rank, 2,000. Mid rank, 550. High rank, 10. Super rank, 1. My eyes turned into slot machine symbols. Give me all of them. The chief didn't even blink. Done, he called the guards. Within 15 minutes, 2 warriors carried in a massive chest and set it at my feet. They opened it, and glory. Thousands of crystals glowing every color imaginable, packed so tight the energy was practically solidifying in the air. Perfect, but what are you going to do with them? The chief asked, genuinely confused. That many crystals won't raise someone's power by much through normal training. I grinned. Chief, that's my little secret. He clearly wanted to ask more, but held back. Fine, I'll be waiting. I hauled the chest back to my tower, posted the 4 maids outside as guards. Nobody disturbs me. Sat cross-legged on the bed, and opened that beautiful box of goodies. System. Absorb. Everything. Ding. Absorbing. 2,000 low-rank cores. For 1,000 points, 550 mid-rank cores. 2,750 points, 10 high-rank cores. 200 points, 1 super rank core, 100 points total, 7,050 auto-distributed points. Energy detonated inside me. Not a wave this time, a supernova. Every cell in my body caught fire and rebuilt itself 3 times over. My bones resonated like church bells. My muscles rewrote their own DNA. Ding. Combat power exceeds 10,000. Breakthrough. Saint rank. Early stage. Ding. New profession unlocked. Wizard. Wizard level 1. Available. Level 1 training room. Level 1 magic formation. New stats. Strength. 4,762 agility. 3,652 constitution. 3,794 charm. 918. Eternal curse. Combat power. 12,208. Saint rank. Early stage 12,000 combat power. From a dying astronaut to a saint rank powerhouse in less than 2 weeks. And now I was a wizard too. I could build training rooms. The thing the chief paid a fortune for a wandering wizard to do, I could now do it myself. So this is what saint rank feels like. I'm absolutely ridiculously powerful. Ha 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 ha. I stood up and stretched. Felt like I could flick a mountain off its foundation. Now let me study this wizard profession and figure out. Bang, bang, bang. Frantic footsteps outside. Someone crying. Then screaming. Lordling CHN. Something terrible has happened, of course. Can't have one peaceful afternoon on this planet. Not one. I achieve godhood and immediately get interrupted by an emergency. This is fine. Everything is fine. I had just finished breaking through to saint rank. Combat power over 12,000. Feeling like a literal god when the door burst open. Lord Lingchen. Something terrible has happened. Avril ran and looking like she'd seen death itself. Face white as paper. Alia and Kalong were attacked. Blood Axe Tribe and Blackrock Tribe ambushed them on the Red Plain. Their top fighters, Kalen and Gray, both high-rank late stage, ganged up on Alia. She's losing. Kalong is unconscious. Our warriors are down. She can't hold much longer. Something inside me snapped. Not the scared astronaut something. Not the funny husband something. The part of me that had been a soldier. The part that crash-landed on a planet alone and refused to die. Someone. Hurt. My wife. Where? East side of the Red Plain, near Black Wind Valley. I took one step and vanished. Moving so fast the air behind me exploded. I arrived to a scene from a nightmare. Blood everywhere. A dozen Greenwood warriors scattered across the ground. Some dead, some groaning in agony. Kalong face down in the dirt, his back torn open to the bone, unconscious. And Alia, my Alia, on one knee, armor shattered, covered in blood, wounds everywhere, shaking, but still up, still fighting, golden eyes burning with defiance even as her body was falling apart. Behind her stood 2 giants. Kalen, Blood Axe Tribe's #1 fighter, built like a refrigerator with anger issues, swinging a blood-red war axe. And Gray, Blackrock Tribe's strongest, skin like black stone, arms covered in horn-like armor. Plus 30 of their elite warriors behind them. Kalen was tossing stolen crystal cores in his hand, grinning. Give up, Alia. You can't beat us both, Gray rumbled. I heard your tribe got some outsider as their new top warrior. Where is he? Too scared to show up? I heard he's only 1.8 meters. Ha ha. Then Gray said something that made my blood go from cold to volcanic. Can that little shrimp even satisfy you? Come to me, babe. I've got what you need. Ha 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 ha. Shut your mouth, Alia screamed. Ling Chin will kill you. Kalen laughed. Kill us? That little runt. I asked around. You found him like a stray dog. He can't even beat a child. If he shows up, he's just another corpse. He raised his war axe and walked toward Alia, grinning like a predator. Pretty girl, stop struggling. Today I'll kill you first, then I'll kill your pathetic little husband. Alia tried to stand. Her legs gave out. Too much blood lost. Too many broken bones. Her eyes dimmed. Is this how I die? Ling Chun, I'm sorry. I couldn't wait for you. Kalen's axe swung down toward her skull, boom. A streak of golden light slammed down from the sky like a meteor. The ground exploded in every direction. Dust clouds erupted 50 meters high. Kalen's axe never reached her. An invisible force launched him backward like a cannonball, smashing him through a boulder 100 meters away. The boulder disintegrated. The dust settled. A figure stood in front of Alia. 1 meter 80. Small. Thin. Radiating enough power to crush the sky. Ling Chen, Alia whispered, tears pouring down her bloody face. You came? I looked at her over my shoulder. Saw every wound. Every bruise. Every drop of blood. My vision went red. I'm sorry I'm late. Rest now. I've got this. I turned to face the 30-plus enemy warriors. My voice was quiet. Calm. The kind of calm that comes right before everything dies. Who? Touched. Her. Gray's face went white. He could feel it. My aura. The thing that made him the strongest fighter in his tribe. The thing that made him arrogant and cruel. It was nothing compared to what was rolling off me. You're the little guy? Impossible. This pressure. It's 10 times stronger than our chief. How can you be this? Kalen crawled out of the rubble, half his body shredded, face twisted in terror. What are you? What kind of monster? I didn't answer. I raised my hand. One punch. Golden light tore reality apart. The shockwave turned everything in its path to ASH. Gray and 20-something elite warriors behind him didn't even have time to scream. They just ceased to exist, turned to red mist. Gone. Kalen's legs buckled. He collapsed to his knees, face the color of death. Please. Mercy. I didn't know. I didn't know you were this strong. Don't kill me. I looked at him. I thought about what he said to Alia. About killing her. About the disgusting things Gray said. About my warriors lying dead on the ground. No words. Second punch. His head popped like a grape. Body toppled over. Silence. I walked to Alia and lifted her gently into my arms. She was 3 meters 2 and weighed more than a normal human could ever carry. But at my level, she felt like a feather. Like picking up a sleeping child. She nestled into my chest, voice barely a whisper, but smiling. You came. I knew you would. I'm sorry I was late. She shook her head slightly, then passed out in my arms. I checked her injuries, serious, but she'd live. I let out a breath I didn't know I was holding. I looked around. Dead warriors from both tribes everywhere. 2 headless corpses that used to be the enemy's strongest fighters. 30-plus elites erased. Blood Axe tribe. Blackrock tribe. You hurt my people. You hurt my wife. I'm coming for you. The chief arrived minutes later, rushing onto the scene with reinforcements. Is everyone okay? Alia will recover. Kalong's unconscious, but alive. I'm taking her home. The rest is yours. 2 days later. Alia was bandaged up, but awake. Kalong was battered but conscious, lying on a mat. Both recovering. I stood in the plaza and looked southeast. I'm going to the Blood Axe and Blackrock tribes. They're going to pay. Alia immediately tried to stand. I'm going with you. I gently pushed her back down. You're injured. Stay. Kalong, still flat on the ground, croaked, Lord Ling Chen. Let me come. I want revenge. Dude, you can barely move. This is nothing. Just a scratch. Please. I looked at him. Beaten half to death, still volunteering for war. His loyalty had gone from -100 to genuinely wanting to die for me. Character development at its finest. Fine. You can come. But only because I don't know the way. You're my GPS. No fighting. Just watch. Yes, my lord. I walked out of the tribe. Behind me, Alia, the chief, and every single tribe member watched my back with a mixture of awe, hope, and the kind of respect you only get by being the guy who turns enemies into red mist with his bare hands. 2 tribes messed with the wrong people. Today, the short guy goes to war. Kalong and I walked across the red plain toward the Blood Axe tribe. Walking together is generous. His legs were so long that every one of his steps required 3 of mine. I looked like a kindergartner chasing his dad through a parking lot. But whatever. Power has nothing to do with height. I could flick this man into orbit. While walking, I pulled up my new wizard profession. Wizard level, 1 upgrade cost, 500 pounds of star marrow or current inventory, 0 pounds 0. Fantastic. Kalong, you know anything about star marrow or? He perked up. Oh yeah, it's what wizards use to train. Only wizards can absorb the energy inside. It's way too violent for normal people. But monsters can absorb it too, which is why they guard every deposit. Only big city powerhouses can fight their way in. Small tribes like ours. No chance. And we don't even have a wizard, so it'd be useless anyway. Interesting. So wizards were basically the celebrity VIP class of this planet. They could build training rooms, create magic formations, cast spells, part architect, part mage, part rock star. Most people didn't have the talent for it. But I had a system. Talent? Who needs talent when you have a cheat code? Kalong cautiously asked, Lord Lingqin. Why do you want this, or? I looked at him. Reasons. He shut up immediately. But I could see the gears turning behind his eyes. The outsider is asking about wizard materials. Does that mean he's also a wizard? He's already the strongest warrior and potentially a wizard? I let him cook on that thought. Sometimes silence is scarier than answers. How far? I asked. About an hour, my lord. 1 hour until the Blood Axe tribe learned the worst mistake of their lives. We arrived at a valley between 2 stone mountains. The Blood Axe settlement was surrounded by wooden walls over 10 meters high, covered in blood-red war flags. From outside, I could hear shouting, hundreds of warriors doing combat drills. The whole place screamed, "We are violent and proud of it." Kalong briefed me quietly. 5,000 people total. About 2,000 fighters. Their chief, Grum, is super rank mid-stage. Their number 1 young warrior was Kalen, but you already turned his head into confetti. They've still got 3 high-rank warriors, super rank mid-stage. Maybe 3,000 combat power. My combat power, 12,208. I could sneeze on this tribe, and it would fall over. Let's go, I said, walking straight toward the front gate. Kalong froze. Lord, we're just going in? Directly? Through the front door? What? Should I send an invitation letter first? Fair point. Let's go. 2 guards at the gate spotted us and burst out laughing. Ha! Isn't that Kalong from the Greenwood tribe? What did you bring, a little person? You here to beg for mercy or to die? Kalong's face went dark. He stepped forward and roared, Blood, AXE scum. Come out and die. The guards' faces twisted. You crazy? Coming to our home and talking trash? Shut up and get your worthless chief out here. 1 guard sprinted inside to sound the alarm. The other blocked the gate with his axe. Within seconds, the gates slammed open and a flood of giants poured out. At the front, a monster of a man, 4.5 meters tall, shirtless, muscles stacked on muscles like boulders glued together. A blood-red axe tattoo across his entire chest. Grum, chief of the Blood Axe tribe. Behind him, at least 200 elite warriors. Grum looked at Kalong and grinned. Well, Greenwood's Kalong. Came to die, his eyes drifted to me. The grin got wider. And you brought a little pet? Ha 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 ha. The 200 warriors behind him erupted with laughter. That little guy doesn't even reach my thigh. Is Greenwood so desperate they're sending toys to fight? Are you going to throw the midget at us? Ha 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 ha. Kalong was shaking with rage, knuckles white around his blade. Meanwhile, I noticed something else entirely. Several female giants in the crowd were staring at me. Not with mockery, with hunger. One of them, nearly 4 meters tall, built like a mountain with curves, was literally drooling. Her eyes were locked onto me like a heat-seeking missile that just found its target. 918 charm points. Working overtime. Even in enemy territory. Even surrounded by people who wanted to kill me. The giant women couldn't help themselves. I'm about to single-handedly destroy this entire tribe, and their women are checking me out. This is my life now. This is what 918 charm does. Grum was still laughing, 200 warriors were still mocking, and Kalong was about to explode with fury. Nobody in that crowd had any idea that the little pet, standing quietly in front of their gates, had 4 times their chief's combat power. Not for long. We hadn't even started fighting yet when things got weird. A female giant, and I use the word female purely in the biological sense, waddled up to Chief Grum and started talking in this nauseating baby voice. Chief, that little guy is so cute, don't kill him, give him to me, I'll take him home as a pet and play with him. I nearly vomited on the spot. This woman, face like a sack of angry potatoes, nostrils pointing straight at the sky, lips so thick they looked like 2 sausages glued to her face. And she was doing a cutesy ACT, batting her eyes, twisting her waist, which was roughly the diameter of a water tank. Compared to Alia, this was like comparing a dumpster fire to a sunset. Thank God that when I first crash-landed on this planet, it was Alia who found me and not this creature. I would have chosen death. Gladly. I would have crawled back into the burning wreckage of my spaceship and pulled the debris over me like a blanket. Grum laughed. Gully, I thought you hated short people? You always said they're disgusting little ants. Gully did a hip wiggle that registered on seismographs 3 continents away. But this one feels different, I must have him, Grum waved his hand. Fine, he's yours. Gully's face lit up like a jack-o'-lantern carved by a drunk person. She stomped toward me, each step causing a minor earthquake, crouched down, and reached for me with a meaty hand the size of a trash can lid. Come to big sister, little cutie, I'll love you so much. Her fat lips puckered toward me. Yellow teeth. Breath so foul it could kill a small animal at 10 paces. 918 charm points. This is what they get me. This. I looked at her with zero expression. Ugly. Get away from me. One punch. Casual. Barely any effort. Like swatting a fly. Boom. Gully ceased to exist. 1 second, she was a 4-meter mountain of horrifying flirtation. Next second, she was a fine red mist spraying across the faces of every warrior standing nearby. Dead silence. Grum's smile froze on his face like a glitched video. 200 warriors stared at the empty space where Gully used to be, blood dripping from their shocked faces. That's impossible. Gully was high-rank mid-stage. How one punch? I must be hallucinating. Kalong stepped forward with the smuggest grin of his life. High-rank mid-stage? Heh. In front of Lord Ling Chun, high-rank and ANTS are the same thing. Grum's face went dark. Who are you? I flicked my hand like I was shaking off dust. Ling Chin, Greenwood tribe. You're the little guy Kalen told me about? Kalen? Your tribe's #1 fighter? I smiled. Dead. I killed him. What? Grum staggered like someone kicked him in the chest. His warriors exploded into panicked shouting. Impossible. Not Kalen. He's lying. Chief, don't believe him. Grum steadied himself and snarled through gritted teeth. Even if you have skills, you're not leaving alive. I have thousands of warriors. We'll bury you in bodies. I looked at his army. Looked at the hundreds more pouring out of the settlement behind him. All armed. All screaming. All convinced that numbers meant safety. Ants, come at me. All of you. Stop wasting my time. Grum lost his mind. Kill him. Everyone. Now. 200 elite warriors charged. Axes, hammers, spears, maces, a tidal wave of metal and muscle and murder, all converging on one tiny 1-meter-80 target. Kalong behind me went pale and backed up. I didn't move. The first axe came down toward my skull. I raised my fist. Boom.